Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
They got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their court.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on cable.
Is that correct?
I didn't ask you to interrupt me. Oh, for Christ's sake.
All right, there we go. Let's get my chair in position. Good morning, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. It's great to have you all here today. I have to tell you, I'm a tiny bit late because I needed to stop crying first. And there's a story behind it. In my nearly infinite wisdom, as I'm doing the remodel in the bathroom, which means really I just have a lumberyard out in my hallway, all the 2x4s and sheeting and stuff. I decided to take the 12-foot long piece and put it on top of all the 10-foot long pieces, and then have it protrude across the opening to my studio, my door, the room here. So as I come into the studio this morning, I catch that 12-foot piece squarely with my foot, and then proceed to fall forward. Now, I do not hit the ground. Luckily, I caught all my momentum of rushing to the studio to be on time on my elbow on the door jamb. And there's like banging your funny bone, and then there's like smashing your funny bone with a ball peen hammer. It was the latter. And tears. I'm not a crier when I get here. I've got a pretty high pain tolerance, unless I get a cold, and then I'm like the most miserable person ever. But I mashed my elbow, and like radiating pain. It's just like shooting from my elbow. I'm like, I don't want to look because I know it's going to be a full-on crime scene. There's going to be blood everywhere. There's going to be, like broken bones protruding and everything. You can't even see it. You can't even see. There's like nothing. There's not even a bruise. So I can just, trust me, it hurt. It hurt a lot, but I'm here now. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's see. Welcome. Look at this. Song chef, laughing, pointing the finger of scorn at Sloth Life because Sloth Life was first in chat, but Sloth Life got the final word and gifted, as is permitted under rules, gifted the internet to Song Chef, who can now no longer re-gift. You can only be gifted once. It's like a white elephant. And Song Chef, congratulations. You have won the internet today, and it's now your job to take care of everything IP-related worldwide. Congratulations. Congratulations, Song Chef. Make sure you help yourself to not help yourself, but that would be the pancakes. Unless it's your birthday, you can do that as well. But make sure you go over to the shopping page and pay your 50-cent fine or fee and download a copy of your internet ownership certificate, which is suitable for framing or use as a cover sheet. All right. Now that I've got my breath back and the throbbing has gone down, it doesn't even hurt to bend. Seriously, guys, there should be like a mark or something there, at least. I was worried that I dented the door jamb. It was like, bam! Wow. I've seen police attempt to knock a door down with less force than I used this morning.
I think I'm about to catch a whooping.
About to catch a whooping. I think we all are. All right. Let's see. Thank you. I went to the post office, by the way. Thank you. I've got two packages to open, and I got a stack more of letters. It looks like people want some more stickers. I will get those processed and sent out. With the other two have been sitting on my desk for way too long, and we'll get those on the way. So thank you. All right, let's do the birthdays this morning. If everyone could gather around, everyone stand up, take a deep breath, put your shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbors. Warm up with me, if you will. La 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 la. There we go. We're going to sing to Angie, Randy, and Windy Horse 2662. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Angie, Randy, and Windy Horse 2662. Happy birthday to you. Alrighty, Angie, Randy, Windy Horse 2662. I hope your morning started a little bit better than mine. But we're here now. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor that we feel from you choosing to celebrate with us instead of the millions of other people, the millions of other places you could have been. Hopefully we can return just a small portion of that back to you, make your day a little more specialer. Help yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, and Tammy Dunlap's house. Whew, that was close. That was close. Happy birthday. I don't think I missed anybody. Let's let the dancers do their thing. They've practiced this routine all week, so let's let them. This is the high kick part we've been waiting for. Ooh, and the somersaults, Melissa, they're looking good. What were those cartwheels? I couldn't tell from my angle. I think they were cartwheels. Happy birthday. Say my name, says you get a pancake and you get a pancake and you get a pancake. Every day's a celebration. It is. Party don't stop. At least until court starts, and then the party stops. Okay, I think we've got a big drum solo to finish this one. Yeah. Definitely. This is the verse. Everybody grab your air drumsticks. Sit down to your air drum set. Put your arms out. Get ready to beat on the drums like you never have before. Here we go. Now I need all of you to send a picture of you playing the air drums to the burner phone, because I know you're doing it. In my head, I see it. I just want to see the actual one. So just quick selfie playing the air drums. You might have to grab a friend, which sometimes people think that's embarrassing. It's like, but no, it's not. Everyone plays the air drums. Just admit it, and your friend's like, yeah, I do that too. So, all right. You don't need to send a picture. That's all right. Samantha says, "Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it." I have to say, we've had some rough news lately. A lot of rough news, and then some scary news with one of our great mods who's better half was on the plane that landed upside down in Toronto. And everyone is safe, a little banged up, but safe. Yeah, just have a prayer for some of the people who are going through some crazy things that, you see on TV, but don't expect to be that close to you. So, Toxic, thank you, and appreciate the great work you do over there on Discord, and help our channel out that way. All right. Where are we? Okay, court doesn't start for a little bit, which is good, because we've had a whirlwind. Oh, you know what? I need a battery that's down there. Hold tight. Good thing it's not Friday. All right, we have a battery, we have a plug, now we have desk lights. I don't know why I run these off a battery, because it pretty much uses up the whole battery every day, or I remember why. It's a silly reason, and I just need to fix it. All right, can you put ice in your elbow? I could, but it doesn't even hurt anymore. It hurt briefly, and now I can't even remember where the spot was. There's no bruise, there's nothing. Is that new hair? The same one I've had before. It's just a little bit longer. Funny you ask about the hair. You know how you can train your hair to do something? Like you can train your hair to have a hairstyle. If you put it in the same way over and over and over, sometimes it'll start wanting to go there. I have trained my hair to have the clamp of the headphones. So around my ears, it like mats to my, it just does no, I try to fluff it up all I can, but I get this circle, this size circle around my ears and a line across the top where I just, from the side, from my sofa, it looks like I've just caught a 2x4 whomp on the top of the head because of my headphones. So maybe I'll have to switch to earbuds instead, which I'm not sure if I can. I trained mine to be bald. G4, awesome. Looks great. This is like what next world or first world problems. Wearing headphones all day, every day. All right, here's where we are in this amazing twisted rose petal murder trial. You're just long enough to make me late. The case goes like this. The state has arrested, so we're working our way backwards. The state has arrested. They've presented all the evidence they feel necessary to convict on the charges of murder, stalking, and harassment. The weird part is so much of this trial was spent on other people. It's like the Murdaugh trial a little bit, and a little like Karen Reed, but from the prosecutor's standpoint, they tried to paint a very big picture of what was going on. And I realize why they did that now, because this case has been so complicated and there are so many players and the connections are weird, and how they're connected and what they were doing. There's like all sorts of strange things that just most people can't connect with and can't see where it's at. Here's what we expect today. The defense has reserved the right to deferred their opening. If they don't have to, but if they give an opening, it will happen today. So it might seem a little strange where defense comes up and gives what we're used to seeing at the very beginning of the trial. But they didn't do that at the beginning. Only the state went. And then we have all the state's evidence, and now it's going to be the defense giving their opening if they want to, and then presenting evidence if they want to. So that's a little different than how it normally goes for us, but it is something we've seen before. And there's a chance, probably not a high one, there's a chance he takes the stand and tries to explain something, but I don't think he will. I think there's too many opportunities for him to really get burned from that. You're welcome. Thank you. They spread the net so wide they've almost steered the journey to thinking a lot more is going on than they're not being told. Not a great move from prosecutors. It was a different move, I will say that. I'll reserve right. If they win, I'll say it was a good move, and if they lose, I'll say it was a bad move.
Happy birthday!
But
you look good.
It's a gamble they took, for sure. Yes. Thank you very much, Samantha. Did I say it wrong? Let's see. Oh, no, it wasn't Amber. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's not Amber. It's not Amber. She's in Virginia. This was in Toronto. Okay. All right. Amber's too busy to take any flights or to stop working. We've got her working pretty hard. All right. So time for your questions and comments and criticisms about the case. There we go. Air drums. I don't know what movie this is from, but somebody sent a picture of somebody playing the air drums. I'm pretty sure it's a meme or something. Because the drum pattern's different. It's funny. Tisha, that's hilarious. Oh, Emily's the first one. Learn my name or else. Playing the air drums this morning. It looks beautiful, Emily. That's great. All right. I love it. This is how I envision it all happening. This is the most confusing case. It is, but I think the closing will wrap it together. If you've listened to all of it. Now, I realize a lot of people have had a day here and a day there, or maybe joined a little bit late and missed some. That it might be confusing for you all the way through. But if you are like on up to date with just the names of the players and understand a little bit about who they are, it should come together in the closings. Melissa, yes, Toxic Orchid's partner was on that plane, and he's all right. We talked a little bit about that this morning, but it's crazy. I've never seen a plane land upside down with wheels up before, especially with without serious injury or fatalities involved. So it's crazy. Zimmy, I watched part of that with, actually I was on Ian Runkle's stream watching him break it down a little bit. And I think Kurt was on there a little later as well. So I watched part. I've been trying to edit. Okay, for something called a short, it sure takes a lot of editing. I'm trying to do a longer short. Like I think they can be up to 10 minutes now. Like I'm not sure if that's just my account that they allow that, but I think I can make a longer short vertical format film. And I'm trying to put one together that summarizes a case with music and everything else, but it's taken forever. Let's see. Lawyer Lee did a great breakdown in under an hour, very comprehensive and accurate and unbiased. That's awesome. Of the Karen Reed incident, I'll say it was insightful. I liked hearing the juror account, for how the jury thought, and that sometimes I cringed at what I heard him say the jury was trying to do, like solve the case. It's not an interview with Karen Reed. It's an interview with a juror from Karen Reed, and I believe Turtle Boy did it on his channel. A lot of people have started breaking it down. I watched Ian's. I haven't watched the original. I just watched some of Ian while I was... honestly, I had 3 audio streams going at the same time in my headset, all in both ears. So I had 2 of the same trial at different points. I was saving and copying and cutting and pasting and editing, and then Ian in the other ear. So I don't think I really picked up anything, but I was listening. Scary how the jurors were thinking. There are parts that were a little bit cringy for me, and it's sad because I don't think they knew or understood that they weren't supposed to do that. There's an interview with Karen Reed also. Wow. I can't think that her lawyer or her lawyers are like, yeah, go out and talk. That can't go well. They must be, I don't know. Unless, Jackson was there as well? Wow. Okay, I have not seen that one. Crazy. Peter did a breakdown too. I think I saw that. I saw the thumbnail for that, but I haven't watched his. Her lawyer was with her. That's better, Amy Flo, but still, that seems risky. Do you think we should have professional jurors? No, I don't. I wish it's like, okay, I'm not trying to get political at all, so don't take it as that. But I believe that if we're going to have a public education, one of the things that's important for them to cover is civic duty, and probably at a basic level. So before someone turns the age of 18, they're taught how this works, and maybe even get some firsthand experience by watching or attending. How court works. Criminal court I think is very important. Not because somebody might end up in there, although that's probably more likely to be arrested. I don't know. It's probably more likely to be called on a jury than to be arrested, just statistically. But I think people need to understand how the court system works, the legal system works, and how the role jurors play, because it's not a small one. And I think even a lot of jurors who serve don't understand the full duty and options that are available to them. So I'm not saying, juror nullification, but I think there needs to be some more training. I loved learning how to make clay cups in high school. That was great. I took an art class and I made a little beehive and we fired it, and it looks cool. But they didn't teach me anything about how the law works, other than that there's 3 legislative bodies, and one makes the law and one enforces. I wish there had been a little more training in that area. I learned myself, but it's I think if you can present it that way and not make it political, just civic duty, so that everyone understands the importance, not just of doing it, of showing up, but what the laws are related to serving on a jury. The fact that you can't be fired for serving on a jury. Your boss cannot fire you for that. Things like that. All right. Court needs to do a better job of explaining the jury's duty. I hear that, but then it puts the burden on the court, which is, the closest point to where it happens, and that also extends the time of imposition on the juror's time. So I think the potential jurors should at least be offered an online course or a video link or something that which no one will watch, that will explain how it works before they even go to selection, to understand what it means to, you can't just be quiet and not say that, I've been arrested. You have to tell the truth during voir dire. You've got to be, full upfront and open about everything. The duty not to talk and not to be exposed and not to share information about a case. Those things need to be taught before it happens. What unanimous means. Jury instructions are never enough, but at the same time, they're always too much. All right. We are. Let's see. It's so cold. I don't want to. Funkarella. I looked on the app. It looks like we're getting snow for the next 2 days. We're getting 2 to 4 inches of snow tomorrow, and the next day we're getting a 1/4 inch of ice. I've never had an ice storm before. I've never been around one. The only reason I'm concerned is I have about 100-year-old pecan tree that is growing in my yard. And pecan trees are notorious for just shedding branches on a good day. Just like middle of the summer, everything's fine, leaves out, no disease, no rot, no raccoons nesting inside, and they'll just drop a branch this big. It'll just fall. I'm worried what will happen once ice gets on there. So, yeah. I promise I'm not send it your way. Half the country has pretty much dealt with this. So it's just my turn. And I'm on the outer edge. I'm sort of right between where the snow stops and the rain starts. But I think we'll get it. Ice storms scare me. Yeah. But it makes such a cool sound. Evangeline, I have a huge white oak that grows over the Airbnb. And that tree is as healthy as an ox. It's not going anywhere. But those branches grow just white oak. They grow straight out from the trunk. If you've never seen a white oak, that's instead of like sort of growing upward, they just grow straight. And there's one branch I'm concerned about. It cannot fall on the Airbnb, or else I have major issues. And so does the renter who's in there right now. But the pecan tree, if it came down, it would hit both the Airbnb and my house. Pretty much it would take out my kitchen, which is the only part of the house Jen likes. And, yeah, it would be bad. So protect the utility pole out front with ice. I foresee a crash. They've moved it. It should be okay. Court has not started yet. For those that are waiting, we're waiting for that to happen. I might set up a camera just to film to see if any tree branches come down. Be interesting. Snowing here, but it's not fun snow. It's powdery and blows around everywhere. Balmy 3 degrees in Missouri this morning. I don't like 3 degrees. That's not exciting. Michelle Johnson says, all right, I've learned I can answer Matthew's law questions because of your channel. I love Matthew Harris, his YouTube channel. Every day he's got a new poll, a new question that will teach you a little bit about the law and the explanation behind it for the answer. I love it. Yeah, snow and ice here in North Carolina. That's where we are. I'm still in North Carolina. I was just reading somebody's comment. I'm still in North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, around Greenville. Weather Watch is insane. Why? He didn't even say anything this morning. It's not his fault. He didn't bring this weather. Is the tree close to your house? It's too close. Yeah. If it's just ice and it falls straight down, I think I'll be okay. But if anything falls away from the tree, it will hit my house and the Airbnb. All right. Let's see. I'm loving the speed editor, by the way, if I can take just a minute to say this. Temps in Minnesota are crazy pants right now. Jesse, stay warm, stay safe. Thank you. Congratulations on 4 months. You guys get this cold weather every year. Well, we occasionally get it. We're already complaining. It's not even here. It's funny because people are already talking about a snow day. I went out to the post office this morning wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and it was perfectly warm. And they're already talking about snow days. We cancel just ahead of time. Just the idea of snow is enough to cancel everything we're doing. I was saying I really love this editing keyboard. I'm getting good at it. I'm getting good at just playing whatever I need to, and editing, cropping, inserting, trimming. It's getting fast. So hopefully I'll get better at making a few shorts. Let's see. Amber, have you seen my comments reminding you grabbing graphic to share? I have a meeting I got to jump on now. Okay. I did get your graphic. Was looking at it this morning. It's the timeline is what we're talking about. And I think there's a second part too, but my son is singing What Does the Fox Say, if you couldn't tell, and he's singing the crazy parts. Let me see if I can send this to the computer. They're all excited. It's dentist visit day, so yay. Now I've got the song in my head. Just 1 second. Airdrop to my computer. There it is. Hang on 1 second. Okay. All right. Can you have them bring some water?
Okay, but I'm not your servant. And I gotta go.
Not you. Them.
Okay.
They're my servants. Okay. All right. All right. Got the graphic. Let me load this. Sorry, we're trying to do a million things. Don't need that picture. Trying to pull up this graphic if I can get it to work, which is a nifty little timeline that Amber made for us. Go up to the top for a minute. Let me go over here. So we've got Zachary Hughes, John Mello, Christina Parcell, and Bradley Post are the four main players. Thank you for the water. Just needing that. Oh, it's cold too. So on this screen we have full screen. We've got a timeline of everything that happened in this of major events that happened in this case, as we've heard from all the witnesses from the beginning. That December 2008, they start dating, Mello and Parcell. By Parcell, we're talking about the victim. By Mello, we're talking about her husband. Those two together have a daughter that is the center of another case as a victim, with Christina Parcell and Bradley Post as defendants, I believe. Well, Christina's dead, but she would be a defendant if she wasn't dead. Sorry, Witchy Mama, thank you. If you've never seen it, look at Crisco as a heating source if power goes out. stay warm. If my power goes out, I have a dual power generator, which I can run off one of my 6 20-pound propane canisters and power. I don't know how they're going to stay warm, but I can run my studio. So, just kidding. That's what we use to keep the freezer running. So they start dating in December 2008. Then 2011, Mello and Parcell have a child. Mello is still married to Cassandra. Yeah, they weren't married. He's married to Cassandra at the beginning, so this was an extramarital affair. October 2015, Mello files for sole custody of the daughter. Mello was awarded full custody in January 2016. Marcella is granted visitation in August. Mello files to revoke visitation under suspicion of cheese pizza. In 2017, visitation schedule agreement reached final order in 2019. Mello moves back to Italy with a child, has full custody in 2020. Parcell filed a rule to show cause alleging Mello wasn't following the visitation order from 2019 and 2020. The hearing was held in Italy. Mello was not present. That was held here. Mello was not present. He was found in contempt in 2020. The child is ordered in 2021 to return to South Carolina by Italian Central Authority, pending resolution of U.S. Family Court matter. The law was later overturned. The harass her text goes to Hughes, who was our defendant in 2021. Indictment issued for Mello for custodial interference in 2021. Mello gets an email with explicit photos of Parcell, and he forwards to Hughes in May of 2021. Explicit photos of Parcell mailed to Post Neighbors, Parcell's employer, and Outman's Bar, and Gal Vanessa, G-A-L. I think they were also sent to the cigar shop and everything else. Arrest warrant issued by GSCO for Mello. That's in 2021. Parcell arrives home in 2021. Gray hoodie and black backpack enters Parcell's home. Okay, that Parcell arrives home. That's Christina. She gets home at 9:07 a.m. At 9:15 a.m., the gray hoodie and the black backpack enters Parcell's home. At 9:27, ring cam shows the suspect in the same clothes with the N95 mask and hood up, riding a bicycle out of the neighborhood. At 10:57, Post vehicle is seen on the ring cam footage. At 11 a.m., Post calls 911 after finding Parcell lifeless in the home. So that was a pretty narrow window. Post vehicle is seen on ring cam in home driveway at 11:05. Post arrested for videos found during murder investigation. That was stuff on his phone. On October 21st, Mello was arrested on warrant. Mello lists Hughes as his only contact for communication while in custody. That's interesting. Then Hughes turns himself in for Parcell's murder on November 3rd of 2021. Mello and Hughes charged with first-degree harassment and conspiracy for allegedly disseminating explicit photos of Parcell. And lastly, Mello was exonerated by directed verdict regarding custodial interference. And that brings us to where we are basically right now. So there's a timeline of things that have happened in this case, and it's bizarre. It's absolutely crazy. And we've kept some of the finer details out. Let's see, run to A. It just helps if I use this one. DVE, line key, run to A. No! I said set A instead of run to A. Now I have to move it manually. That's not it. Run to B. DV position. Wait for it. Set A. There we go. All right. That's going to be my new home. Hughes turned himself in. We've got like mixed things because I hear at one point the police arrived and he was in his garage with his cell phone up in the air with his lawyer on the phone, cell phone in his hand, talking to his lawyer. I thought that's when he was taken into custody, but I've got a lot of things, including from Amber, saying that he turned himself in. So maybe he was not taken into custody when they came to check on him. Amber deserves a raise. Yeah, I'm going to double her pay for this. Terry H., if you're on a computer, go into the little gear in the right-hand corner of the box and change the resolution as high as you can take it. And that will help. I stream at 1080p if that's any help. Maybe he called the cops before his lawyer. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. How about those scrambled WhatsApp messages? Not great. I agree. Looks really bad. I think if anything, those are prima facie evidence for the harassment and stalking. I think those are there. He turned himself in. He was out of state and drove himself. So Melanie, tell me, where then did it fit that he was in his garage on the phone with his lawyer, with the phone in hand with his lawyer? How did that happen? Or am I confused and that was post? Was that post? The daughter is currently in custody of Mello, the dad. So it was post who was turned in on the phone. Our defendant turned himself in. That makes more sense. I had those mixed up. Court is late starting. It was supposed to be starting at 9:30, and it has not yet begun. I do wonder if defense is going to start with an opening statement. Checking to see if I can find anything on this one at all. I'm not seeing it. All right. There is a half-hour delay. Courts are closed here in Bentonville, Arkansas due to weather. It hasn't even started snowing yet. Tiger Lily. It lives on in my son's brain and now in mine. The desk is blurry. Okay, let me fix that. Oh, yeah, it is. Is that better? Now you can practically read my cell phone. Sorry. That would have driven me nuts. Thanks for telling me. I apologize. All right. Oh, I've got some people I need to recognize. Selena K. Todd in recovery. Congratulations on 58 days. Todd, congratulations. Selena, thank you for catching that. I missed that. Alyssa Jamroz, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much, Alyssa. You're one of us now. You can never leave. Britta Aller says it's almost a year since my boss from my part-time job found out he had cancer. Oh, man. April will be a year, and he's cancer-free. That is awesome. Congratulations there. That is something to celebrate. Michelle Marcus, member for 18 months. Says best 18 months of true crime anywhere. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Also, Jesse, member for 4 months, says the temps in Minnesota are crazy pants right now. We caught that one. That is crazy. We're going to get it soon. Witchy Mama, see something, say something, says member for 60 months. If you've never seen it, look at Crisco as a heating source if power goes out. We're talking about Crisco like the shortening, like the cooking, the grease for cooking or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I think it's called shortening. Mandy Strong, welcome to the gallery. Thank you. And Sloth Life gifted a membership as well as gifted the internet this morning. Sloth Life, thank you very much for your generosity today. All right. Just on the local news, Darrell Brooks dropped his court-appointed attorney for his appeal that he had for 2 years and wants to be pro se again. Okay, I rescue dogs. He's learned. He's learned a little bit. He's gone to the law school of hard knocks. Oh, that is good water. Not a sponsor yet. Did you adjust the f-stop set on the camera? No, I didn't. I just did the focus on this one. I've got a pretty narrow depth of field right now, I think. So it's the focus point is about right here. So these are a little bit blurrier, and it's a little bit blurrier over there. I'm currently sitting at I'll tell you. Oh, no, it won't tell me. I thought I could see my f-stop on here. It's 1/30 for the shutter, 5600K on the white balance, no filter, and
Because he's the guy.
the f-stop's a 3.5 to 5.6, so it shouldn't be that narrow of a depth of field. But Tony, thank you very much. You just being here is plenty. I appreciate that. Did you see me waving at you? Yes, I looked in the camera. I saw a bunch of people waving. It was awesome. Is weather going to affect the court? It could. I think it is right now. I think Adam's a little far behind. Adam might be delayed. Katie Bug, I missed yours. I did not miss Sloth Life, but thank you very much, Katie Bug. Gifted a membership as well. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. Sloth Life has been gifting the internet and now gifted a membership as well. Court's in Greenville, right? Greenville, South Carolina. I'm in Greenville, North Carolina, so a little bit different. We're about, I don't know, six or 7 hours apart, depending on how you drive. 5 if you're lucky. Getting keys today for a new home. Very blessed to extended family that took care of myself and siblings long after they passed. Joni, that is awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations on your new home. I hope you love it and it doesn't need any repairs. Sorry, that's just my personal preference showing through. Catch up, Adam. Catch up. We want you in the current time. Does anyone know why the sister does not have custody of the child? Moonlight Dance, the sister is currently in a custody dispute with Mello. This has been going back and forth. They reached an agreement and now they're still fighting over it. So it's back and forth quite a bit. What is going on with all the plane crashes? Another one crashed yesterday on the runway. Mandy Strong, the one that crashed in Toronto, Toxic Orchid, one of our mods. She's quiet on the chat. She's very quiet, but she's does a lot of work behind the scenes research, and she also helps run as the gavel drops the Discord page. Her partner was on that plane, and pretty scary times. That is just wild. It's just a picture of a plane missing a wing and upside down on a runway is crazy. Jinx says they lived 5 minutes from the plane crash. I was watching footage. It's wild. Yeah, they're very fortunate. Generally, planes that have damaged wings light on fire. I know this is a scary idea. They light on fire because the fuel tanks are in the wings. It's just something that happens. There's a plane crash almost every day. There are, when you include all the small planes, yeah. But airliners, it's a little more rare for them. Winds were blowing 70 miles an hour. It was full-on blizzard up there, icy runway, everything. So. Mark from SC says, new subscriber here, lived 10 minutes from the Canebrake community in 2021. Wow. Mark, it's a wild feeling when you're listening to court and they're giving descriptions and locations. You're like, I've been there. And that's just down the road. It makes it sort of surreal. And at the same time, it brings it really home, close to you. But to Mark, welcome. Thank you very much for being a new subscriber. Appreciate you being here. All right. Jan, also watching from Greenville, South Carolina. Thank you very much. We expect to have court here in about, little under 10 minutes. Not getting on a plane anytime soon. It's still probably one of the safest modes of travel, with statistically the odds of getting in a crash much higher in a car than in a plane. Seems interesting how the sister said agreement. Seems like more to the story. Oh, see, Taylor, that's the funny thing. With everything the state told us, as they laid out the case and introduced us to the different actors and the adjacent people that are not directly tied to the case so closely, but somehow connected. There's every single one of them has a story. Mr. The red jacket dude, he's a good friend of Mello, not just like an acquaintance. They presented him as like, I hired this guy to work in my house for a couple weeks. Yeah, and you go out drinking together, and you got Facebook pictures on there, and then there's a closer connection there. We didn't go into that. Every single one of these people, it's crazy. This is a made-for-TV type situation where each player has a full story that can be developed and is unique and interesting and a weird and sometimes downright just wrong. But Amber's calling. Let's see if we can bring her on. Good morning, Amber. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm okay. How is everybody else?
Good. Thank you for the chart. We appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm new to church well with charts, but I can throw a timeline together.
That's difficult because you have to basically re-listen to everything.
Well, yeah, and I was going through all sorts of case documents, and not just Zachary Hughes documents, but documents for the other key players that kind of coincide with this. So just to give a little bit of clarity, because there are some more details that I didn't include in the timeline because I was trying to make it as comprehensive as possible. But there's still some finer details that I didn't necessarily highlight on the timeline. Yeah. So the question about the sister, and if the sister has any custody or connection to the daughter, she does. The most recent complaint that was investigated through DSS was in March of 2024, and it was found to be a family court matter. And they dismissed that investigation. However, all of the fighting that Christina was doing with Mello regarding custody is now what Tina is fighting. And there is an agreement as far as what their schedule is supposed to be. Certain weekends of every month and a certain day of the week, and certain phone calls happen periodically or at certain intervals. I've gone through all of those documents, and unfortunately, Tina is fighting for visitation and custody rights of her niece.
Yeah.
Understand there's no evidence whatsoever that Tina was involved in any of the nefarious things that Christina may or may not have been involved in.
Yeah.
But she's at least trying to make sure that she stays in her niece's life.
So, Amber, thank you for clarifying that, first of all. But I want to take this a little bit direction. Yesterday, you sent me a 139-page document connected to this case, and it was a motion from the defendant. Can you summarize just quickly and maybe point out some of the things that stood out to you in that motion? When it was filed, what it was for, and then some of the strange stuff that was in it.
So that particular motion, I believe, if I've got my dates correct, I believe that was the motion for bond in September of 23.
Right.
And that motion for bond, there's been a lot of stuff that the state has tried to file under seal, has tried to limit what the defense can put in public filings, and the defense finally motioned to have everything unsealed within the case. So everything has been unsealed. So through that, I was able to go through this bond document that really laid out a really good timeline about Zachary Hughes. That's how I got all of the information about him, signing up for officer training school with the U.S. Marine Corps in 2018, but he was only there for 3 weeks because he ended up with bilateral stress fractures of the lower extremities. So it was really insightful to get an idea of who Zachary Hughes is and why he is the person he is. A couple of things that stood out was in childhood, his parents actually adopted 5 Russian siblings and brought them stateside to raise them. And that had a profound effect on his life. That's actually what turned him to music. He's done a lot of philanthropic work as far as charity goes through music, bringing people together with COVID. The majority of that document had 54 exhibits for testimonials from people that know Zachary Hughes, from Juilliard instructors and professors to churchgoers or organizations that contacted him to do some concerts and stuff out of state and even out of the country. What I gleaned from that document specifically was the timeline in which he was arrested / turned himself in. And according to all the legal filings, he turned himself in and was actually out of state planning to catch a flight to another concert he was supposed to do. And I think London is where it was. But he ended up renting a car and driving, I think it was from Ohio to South Carolina, and turned himself in.
That's a fair drive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was really, really insightful.
Let me just say, his filing, it was sort of interesting the way it was written. There were things, talking about his good character all over the place. About all that he's done and trainings and everything else. I would not be surprised if he does testify, if he says, "And can I do it to music?" When he gets on the piano, it's one of those things. It's just like it's a little different. It's a little different, but Anyway,
I feel like we haven't really gotten a whole lot of testimony as far as who Zachary Hughes is and how he necessarily connects to the case. But then again,
why he would do this. That part's just been skipped over. We do know there's some sort of relationship between him and Mello. They're close, really close.
Best bud.
Best BFF. Anyway, it seems like a lot for somebody to do this for their friend, right?
It does.
Because
and what
there's no benefit for Zach, right? Other than maybe now I get Mello to myself, right? Get this other person,
right?
But it's literally, it looks like this was something he did. Now maybe they talked about it on the phone, and they actually, but the text messages don't address this drastic action. They address the stalking, the harassment, the send these pictures, send them from this email address, send them from a post box, don't get seen. They address all that, but they don't say, oh, and then we need her out of the picture. That's just not there.
So if you look at the timeline I put together, and I tried to couch this nicely and frame it in a way that would maybe be an aha moment. If you look at the timeline and look at what leads up to the 2021 explicit photos dissemination, what's not clear to me is when Zachary Hughes and Mello became best buds. I don't think it goes back to childhood. In fact, I have a feeling it only started around 2018. So at the time,
their connection is music related, wasn't it?
Yes. So Mello is
like
purported to be a music producer. Correct. Nobody has been able to substantiate those findings online. But he is in some pretty unique circles that you wouldn't otherwise be in. Elton John is one of the names that gets thrown around when it comes to Mello.
Oh yeah, you look on Mello's social media, and he lists all sorts of really well-known musicians.
Yeah.
These are the people I've worked with, and it's like A-listers all the way down.
Right. So it came through music, yes, but I don't think it was as long term of a friendship or even knowing of each other until 2018. After he came back from officer training school. So it was really, really interesting to see how certain pieces fit together on that timeline. And I didn't put it together until I did the timeline. So all of the communications going through family court, according to the filings,
right,
Hughes was CC'd on. Hughes was very much so a part of the custody battle, and Mello had gotten him involved in the nefarious actions that Mello was alleging. So he was entangled in all of this because of Mello, from everything I've seen so far.
It's wild. I wish they'd bring back the Michael Manigault.
Yep.
There's so much more to his story that I want to hear about. He played that off as like, the way he presented himself in court, he was just like, I just worked at the house for 2 weeks. Why am I here? And that was that. And then at the end, he's like, oh, off the record, he's a good guy. That was all. And really, there's like, hey, there's a full story there. There's a relationship. There's like, this goes back a ways. And the fact that he's a photographer since he was age 6, and what's his favorite thing to photograph? Roses. That's just an interesting coincidence. But it's a wild, wild case. We've got footage from court at least. It's going to start here hopefully soon, as long as all the jurors can show up if the weather's not too bad. But
I think the biggest takeaway of this whole case is my heart breaks for that girl, for that little girl. She is in the worst circumstance possible, and she's caught between a rock and a hard place, and just as things happen with any family with kids involved, especially in cases like this, the kids are always the ones that suffer. I mean, this girl has had so much put in her head that some fact, some not, and others that are blatantly false. Like, to me, if there's no indication that the aunt was involved in anything nefarious, and everything that I've seen indicates to me that Tina had no idea, regardless of what was found on their devices, Tina had no idea of what was being alleged and what was purported to have been happening. But she's trying to make sure her niece is okay. So I just don't understand. It's when that fight goes to that level where it really and truly hurts the kids. That's where it breaks my heart, because they don't know any better.
Yeah. It's terrible. I do hope that, the sad thing is that her life is full of a lot of what appear to be bad actors. And,
correct.
And especially at the closest levels to her. And so really hopeful that she can get the help that she needs and some good people around her.
Right. And since Mixtapes just put it in the chat, it reminded me of something else. So GAL on that timeline means Guardian ad litem.
Right.
And in the beginning, Vanessa was the original Guardian ad litem that was appointed through family court when Christina Parcell had filed her motion and all of that. That's all on the timeline. However, what's not on the timeline is that there are civil suits happening in this case as well. And tying this back to the daughter, there's a civil suit against the estate of Christina Parcell, and the daughter is the only heir to that estate. She's suing her own estate, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because it's already coming to you.
There's no one else filing a claim, or holding any claim on that estate, like Post and Mello? Nobody?
Nobody. It's being held because of the criminal and civil actions that are going on right now.
Okay, so what if she's suing her own estate and their actions, well, you can't punish someone after they're dead.
Right.
I'm just wondering if this could preserve the assets from being taken as a punishment for the crime, but she's dead, so there's going to be no conviction.
Perhaps.
That is weird. That's weird.
However, what I did find, and what was really shocking to me, was the Guardian ad litem that is in the documentation for that civil suit. So that civil suit case, Guardian ad litem, is a woman named Allison Sutherland, who is a good friend of Mello and Hughes.
Everybody's connected.
She's acting as Guardian ad litem for the civil suit. And it says in there that she has, that she's the legal custodian of the daughter. So part of me wonders, and I haven't seen anything to this respect, so this is speculation on my part. Part of me wonders if there's a family court agreement for appointed representation for, guardianship after Mello was charged. Mello is out on $15,000 bond. One of them was a $10,000, the other was a $5,000 bond. So,
and he's not charged with conspiracy to murder. He's just charged with harassment.
Criminal conspiracy. Criminal conspiracy and harassment. That's it.
So criminal conspiracy. This is the stalking and harassment, not necessarily the conspiracy to commit murder.
Correct. It's conspiracy to plot and plan with someone else to do a criminal act. So it's very specific in the language, and depending on how this case turns out, depends on if I think they'll add charges to Mello by the time all is said and done. But I don't know if they have enough to sink Mello for this. Do I think he was involved? Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
I don't think they can prove it.
That's crazy.
So, Allison Sutherland, keep an ear out for that name, because I'm hoping we find out more about that dynamic, because that put a whole nother branch to this whole tree as far as who has the daughter. Oh, that's interesting.
Thank you,
I
Nikki,
saw the
for
Gigi
this.
comment.
Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis, who is local there, has been attending court, and we understand is in the courtroom today as well, posted on social media that all the sides are in chambers, meaning they're meeting with a judge in his office, but she doesn't know what they're discussing. So this could be the reason for delay. Yet this is a weird time to accept a plea deal.
I bet you. I don't think it's a plea deal at all. I think it's a motion for mistrial.
On what grounds?
I think the defense is pushing hard on motion for mistrial because of the allegations that were alleged on Post and Christina. If you get some time and you want to you want to just have some light reading, you should really take a look at some of the documents I've sent over, because the snark in these filings is absolutely hilarious. It's I can't tell you how much I laughed at while I was reading these filings, because I just it put
the wording in there.
It put
crazy.
Jackson,
just what I've really.
Yeah, it put the snark with professional, Jackson and Yannetti and Alessi with the Karen Reed case. Their snark is, you can tell it's professional snark.
Like Maya level?
You know what I mean?
Like Mr. Anderson? He has a way with words when he writes.
I think dare I say it, I think these Hughes documents are
better.
are better.
All right. So mistrial, I only saw one thing that could have been a problem that I thought might have been an issue with the judge, and it was when he ruled on the probative versus prejudicial in front of the jury, saying that he believes something is very probative, which conveys his belief of how important this evidence is. Instead of just saying this is evidence that can come in and the jury's supposed to give it the credibility it feels it needs, he put his feelings out there. He didn't just call the shots. He called the shots and put a gold star on this one. And that, I think, might have been an issue.
Real quick, because I'm seeing in chat, Drama Llama Mama, it's more blatant than per my last email kind of snark. It's more in your face and not really filtered at all. And the other thing I wanted to address is motion for mistrial will have to be on the record. Understand, even though they're in chambers, they're still on the record. There's still a court reporter in chambers with them during this time.
It doesn't necessarily mean
so
it's
it's
going to be in
all
the courtroom
still on the
in front
record.
of the cameras.
Right. And that motion, I have a strong feeling, and it connects back to what you said on the judge's ruling on probative versus prejudicial, because the entire defense case rests on the allegations involving Post and Parcell.
Yeah.
But those allegations do not make her unaliving any more or any less unlawful.
So let me pull up the documents here, which the 139 pages is a lot to read. Is that the best one to read? Which one do you think would be
That one would give you the best insight to Zachary Hughes as a person. I wouldn't necessarily say you'd have to read through all 54 exhibits that are attached. There's one specifically regarding the allegations. I don't know if you want to do that one online or not. Let me look through it to see if you can like filter it on the fly as you read it, because the words are on the screen. I don't know how that would hurt
the issues. Yeah, that might be a problem. But the Hughes one shouldn't have that in it.
That 139 page one does. I think it makes mention of like facts of the case, but it doesn't go into great detail. Let me pull up the ones I was going through last night that I was laughing at real good, and I'll send them over to Mod Chat again.
Okay. All right, Amber, thank you very much. Appreciate the work you've done into this. This is just a little sample of what Amber and the crew over it on the Discord page as the gavel drops does for just about every trial they're following, including the dozens, which we are not, that are currently going on. So if you want...
Hundreds, not dozens.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm like the ones that are actively like in court right now. The trials that are currently underway.
Yeah, that's a little smaller.
This level of document digging and analysis, you can find this on every case you're interested in over on Discord, and they are fantastic. There are thousands of members over there. You could become one. We've got the link that will be posted here in chat. It's free. An amazing group. You'll see a lot of the same moderators over there as we have here. We do share some moderators between the two channels, and it's well worth it. So Samantha, thank you very much for putting the link up there, and Josh, you both got it. So Discord has a little bit of a learning curve. If you need help,
if you need help, please don't be shy in asking for help. Mods and admin team over there are great with getting back to you. I, however, am not over there quite as much as far as in the different channels. So if you don't see me over there, don't panic.
So you can
I'm there.
You can reach out here occasionally. You can get help through a mod on Discord by alerting them here. You can also contact them directly on X if you're on Twitter as well, and you can do it. There are ways inside Discord as long as you can get it running and logged in and get to that page, which shouldn't be too hard because it's just basic account setup. They can walk you through over there as well. So
yeah, don't fall for the trick of signing up for Discord Nitro. That is a paid subscription, but Discord is completely free unless you want to sign up for the paid version.
Yeah, if you really want to pay for something, that you could sponsor them a little bit. What's that called when you
boost?
You boost the channel, and when you boost it, it helps. It helps the channel have a couple extra features. It lets them do some of the voice chat in the rooms where you can go in and talk to each other, just like we would be here over your computers. And gives them more space on the server to store more documents, have more stuff active at the same time. So it does help out the channel as well.
The Discord link doesn't work. Oh, that's the YouTube page. I'll work on the link and see what's going on with it. The Gavel Drops also has a buy me a coffee thing too. That link is over on their Twitter.
Oh, sweet. If the link doesn't work, I'll fix it. That might be on my end. So get me the new link and I'll fix the command.
It should be a permalink, so I'll just resend you the permalink.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty. I'll talk to you guys
Amber.
later.
Appreciate it. Bye.
All right, bye. No problem.
So let me, the judge is here. I was about to say we're going to switch, and I'm just going to show you the document, but the judge just barely walked in. Looks like we might have some sort of activity, and with what we've heard about being in chambers this morning, I'm very curious as to what happens. We might have a judgment of acquittal motion made formally here, unless they took care of that in chambers, which is sort of a weird place to do that. Usually it's done in open court. It's the right time for defense to file that motion and say, look, the state didn't meet their burden. Judge, dismiss this. But let's see. Gigi says court is on a break for judge to decide on defense case. That's got to be a mistrial motion. That sneeze just came out of nowhere. Luckily, I have a mute button. All right. The daughter is going to testify per Gigi. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whoa. This is next level. Hey Amber.
I should have looked at mod chat before I hung up the phone. You need to go look at Gigi's Twitter. Mm-hmm. Because she's posted some updates to include that the defense may call Christina's daughter.
So do you know her age right now? I know she's under 18.
She was born in 2012, so
that's
13.
I didn't come here to math, Amber. Sorry.
13.
Okay, that might be something. Let's see.
And from what I just read from one of her posts, it looks like my prediction may be correct, because the defense is their entire case in chief rests on the allegations of what Post and Christina were doing. And they're trying to use that, in my opinion, it's speculation on my part, in my opinion only. I think they're trying to say, well, this is what was going on, and this was the impression. We had suspicion and reason to believe, and we were trying to protect the child. But again, that doesn't make it any less unlawful to take another life. That's where it's coming in to play. I understand how the allegations play into this and how it fits, but you can't have a trial within a trial. And there's no proof. There's only charges that Post has pending. So nobody has been found guilty of anything with regards to that. So they can't technically bring it in because everybody is presumed innocent unless or until proven guilty.
Okay, so this could go a couple ways here. I'm reading Pretty Lies and Alibis on Twitter, by the way. Well worth the follow. She's been doing live streams about this in courtroom following this. This is in her neck of the woods. Great information. Gigi's amazing. She says, looks like the defense wants to base their case on defense of others. Interesting. Also, it seems that Christina's daughter could testify. Now, you think of, yes, you can self-defense. You can defend someone else and be in the right to do that. And so people are saying, but she was in school. Daughter was in school. How can you defend her while she's in school?
Right.
They're presenting this as an argument saying that he saw what was going on and basically stood in her shoes and said, I have to put an end to this. So it's a little bit, it's not the immediacy of the act that he was defending her from was not present. Meaning the crime was not occurring at the moment, but it was an ongoing situation that he was trying to help. This is the defense. So he would be basically admitting. See this? Oh my goodness, she's got a scoop on this. Defense is arguing the child was in imminent danger, and that's the element. Now. Okay, see you, Amber. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Gigi goes on and says the defense has a witness from Utah prepared to testify about the effects of long-term abuse of a child, and then defense says Zach stood in the child's shoes. Defense of others. The state says that in using this defense, you're admitting to stabbing her over 30 times. How do you do the analysis of alternative means? Nothing was occurring at the moment he killed her. The child was in school. Zach went in there with the intent to save the child. This judge is currently deciding on this. I'm not sure if he's deciding if he'll allow that defense to be used, but he could basically be admitting to, I did the act, but I'm not guilty of murder because it was in defense of another, which is wild. It's taking the law into your own hands. It is, but I don't know how you can dance around we're not going to bring in the more prejudicial than probative factor with this defense. This might blow the doors wide open on this. Yes, Pretty Lies and Alibis on YouTube and on Twitter. If you want to follow that, she's in the courtroom, keeping everyone updated on what's happening there. So this, was it also premeditated? Premeditated self-defense? This is, yeah, I don't know if this will work for defense. It's crazy. But I'm just trying to read ahead a couple steps, and I don't know how we get from where we hear we're going to the end of the defense's case without blowing the doors wide open on all that activity that the judge ruled will not come in. They have to open the door to that, or else how does this happen? And suddenly the content of this case becomes not YouTube friendly very, very quickly. could be a huge mistake calling the daughter to testify because her statements have wavered. What's reported to have happened is not what is recounted by the daughter. Premeditated vigilantism. Soft life. I would agree that this causes more problems for the daughter to work through. I realize, man. Actually, what's probably going to happen is the judge will seal the courtroom for this. We've got a juvenile testifying about abuse that they're the victim of. I'm pretty sure the cameras would be turned off for that. That would not be broadcast. Melissa, what's happening now? The judge is making a decision. We heard from Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis through her Twitter updates that both sides met in chambers for a while this morning. That's why there was a delay. And it appears the defense would like to move forward using a defense saying that Zachary did what he did, meaning, yes, I did it, but it was it's like a self-defense claim. It was in defense of others. It's a strange reach because, for example, most of the states, most states here in the U.S., if you see somebody else being harmed by a crime and you step in, like physically attacked, and their life is in danger or serious bodily injury is about to occur or is occurring, you can step in even though you're not being attacked, and you can basically attack the attacker in defense of the victim, and you can be in the right. Where, if you have the means to use deadly force and it's necessary, you would be in the right to intervene and to eliminate the attacker. That idea is what the defense is trying to present here in this case, saying that Zach, looking at the situation that the daughter was in with all this this other material that was being, she was being victimized to produce, he was in defense of her. So this goes wild. Mod chat, man. Okay, hang on. Just trying to get back to mod chat. The defense admits Zachary Hughes killed Christina Parcell. This is from Kathy Russin of Law and Crime, and says he did it in defense of her minor daughter due to allegations of ongoing sexual abuse and exploitation. If the judge allows this, the likely witnesses for defense would be Christina's daughter, her daughter's father, John Mello, and Zachary Hughes himself. The judge did not allow cameras for anything outside the jury, so he did not see and will not see any of these arguments. He has now taken a break to make his decision on allowing this defense. This had to be the plan all along for the defense, because Zachary Hughes, throughout this trial, has been as confident as all get out in front of the jury, as just calm, cool, and collected and confident. It presents the "I was doing what's right," feeling to the jury. Why would he have to kill her by stabbing her 31 times? That's a problem for him. That's a problem, especially, 6 of the stabs were life-threatening or life-ending variety. If we remember from the ME, a lot of them were almost superficial to the head, that were just cuts. So will there be no video in court today should this go forward? Bryce, I think the only one that won't be shown would be the daughter's testimony. Everything else is open court. They're adults. It's terrible fact patterns. You know, that what we're discussing is awful, but only the juvenile, I think, would be off the record. Okay. Thank you, Amber. I got that one. Yeah, and he would definitely testify. That's the other part. He would definitely testify if this is the defense. I think you almost have to testify if you're using some sort of self-defense, unless there's some external fact. We learned this from Sarah Boone, right? If there's a fact that stands on its own that shows that you were, doing this in self-defense, so like a video where somebody's screaming and you're like, "What's going on?" They're like, "Oh, he's killing me," and you step in and do something and it's all on video. Then you could claim self-defense, and there's a fact that would be enough to present in front of the jury without you testifying. In this case, there is no other fact like that you can present. I think you would have to take the stand, maybe even first. You would have to take the stand first to say what happened, and then you would go through with probably the daughter off the record, or not on the record, but off camera. And that can be done a couple ways. It can either be the judge says we're not going to show her face, but you can get her audio, or he can say we're not going to record the audio or her image during this. And just for that period of testifying, we get this view right here. He's apparently flourishing in jail. That's not someone who has done something they regretted. The thing is, when it comes to criminal trials, I agree that no matter how this goes down, it's probably not going to be something the daughter wants to do, enjoys doing, or benefits from. This does, in some way, re-victimize the daughter by forcing her to testify like this. The problem is the legal system, aside from saying we'll let you do it privately so that it's not broadcast out on TV, doesn't take that into account. Zach's the one whose rights are being preserved by forcing the daughter to testify. And that's just the way the system works. If the judge allows this, that's what he's weighing over. Are we going to allow you to force the daughter to testify to this? I would be very surprised if we got audio or video of the daughter, especially if the judge is thinking, long and hard about this. The biggest issues, I think, the 31 stabs, the premeditation, the fact that the daughter wasn't there at the time. If he had shown up at the house and something wrong was going on there, and he had just, even if he had broken in and burglarized the place and caught, a crime in the act and then done this, that would have been better than the facts we have here, where he has to take the stand now. If the judge allows this, this is a change for the judge, because it's a surprise. They've presented all the way up to this point that they're just going with, it wasn't me, right? Not guilty, wasn't me, with the Shaggy defense. And now switching to, I did it in self-defense or in the defense of another. This is a major, major shift. Judge is phoning a friend. She will have to testify in post-trial. Yeah, generally they do. But a lot of times those cases are going to be closed to the public as far as media is concerned. You could attend the court and sit in and listen, but they try to protect the child victims. How can they just do this at this stage? It's a major shift in strategy, and they did it only after. Now think this through, because we're trying to think of why they would have waited till now instead of presenting this on day one, right? As we're beginning. If you have this argument on day one, then the entire state's case is going to be set up to show, instead of not who did it, which is what they've been presenting right now, trying to say who was the actor, to why this was not in defense of another. So they let the state present the entire case, and this is one of the reasons the judge might exclude this, and then they say, now we want to shift our defense, which puts a different burden on the state, okay? Because when you say, I'm going to make this self-defense or in the defense of another, you have to present some sort of evidence to get to that basis. You have to, currently, as it goes, if you're saying it wasn't me, everything rests on the state. They have the entire burden of proof to prove that it was you, and they meet all the elements of the charges. Now you're saying either it was self-defense or in defense of another. You have to testify to get to that point. So it'll take a minute to get there. That'll be some testimony. It might come from the defendant himself. It might come through somebody else. But they've got to get to the point to where they say, and this is, I'm asserting that it was self-defense. Burden shifts back to the state now to prove that it was not self-defense or in the defense of another. This is late to spring it on the state like this, because this is brand new. I would not be surprised if the judge says, no, you can't do this. But the defense only did this after that really damning evidence came in with they fought like 3 times. They tried to have this evidence excluded about the DNA. They didn't want the fact that there was DNA under her fingernails that matched him brought into court. And once that came in, the first thing defense does is, now we want to shift our defense. So I think this is defense's plan B, and it's risky. That's why they deferred their I think they preserved their options for this. But I think they would have preferred, like if defense had their way of how things went, if the judge would have ruled that the DNA for some reason was not allowed in, whether it was some procedural error or otherwise, the DNA not allowed in, that would be their best bet. And then just say, you have no proof. Some guy on a bike looks sort of like me. I have a bike. There was a little more evidence than that. There was blood on the handlebars and the seat, or at least it fluoresced. Indication of blood, petals, and all that. Oh, man. DNA is proof. Yeah. Virginia, the judge is going to decide this. I don't know how long he's going to decide, how long he's going to spend thinking about it. But see, we might... In the meantime, we might read a document here. Trial by ambush. If I were the state, I would put up a very passionate fight in defense of this and say, Judge, you can't do this. You can't, right at the last minute, after all the evidence has come out, change and say, oh, just kidding. It's not that I'm not guilty. I'm not, because I didn't do it. It's not guilty because I did it in defense of somebody else. This is a very different move. It's sneaky. I believe this was the defense plan the whole time. I think they had this option the whole time, but it's risky. So planning on doing this, they probably discussed this as an option, but if you plan on doing this and wait until the very end, I think the judge, if he is able to sniff that out, would full on shut it down and say, no, you can't. They need to have a reason why they say, when we got to this point, our defense was 100% based on the idea, and we still believe that the evidence of the DNA should not have been allowed in for whatever reason. And it's a bit of a stretch because DNA seems to always come in. But if you say, and when that came in, we had to stop and rethink our strategy and look at this, and we said, this is where we're going to go now. That's why they deferred saying anything in opening. It preserved this option for them, at least the potential for it. Can you imagine Mello on the stand? First of all, I can't, because he has his own charges that he's facing. And if he testifies to this in support of this case, what he says, unless he has some state deal, which I don't think he has, can be used against him in his other trial. So I would expect Mello to be subpoenaed and plead the fifth and not testify. So, man, this is crazy. I wish we got to hear everything that's going on here. Why is that not popping up on my computer? Judge knew this was coming. He told defense they would revisit the evidence when needed. I don't think it was this, though. The change of plea? Or the assertion of self-defense or defense of another? Let's see. Mellon law. I agree. The problem, the more I think about it, there are more and more problems to this defense for Zachary. 35 attacks, stabs. That's excessive. That's overkill. That's personal. That's hard to say this was, self-defense or defense of another. The blackmail, the stalking. How does that fit in? How do you? I was defending her by sending revenge corn pictures to all of the attackers' friends and family to get her to stop. They're pieces that don't fit the scenario. I'm going to call it. I don't think the judge is going to allow this. I don't think it's coming in like this. Yeah, we might need new bingo cards, Sam. You cannot plead the fifth in front of the jury if you know that the witness is going to plead the fifth, and you should know, because no self-respecting attorney will ask the question of a witness that doesn't already know the answer they're going to give. You are not allowed to have them plead the fifth in front of the jury, because it goes straight to mistrial, and we start over. So if the judge doesn't allow this, we all know he's guilty. Well, the jury won't have heard this. That's the interesting thing. It's funny that you can discuss. Okay, we might plead self-defense with the prosecution, basically saying you're admitting that you did it, but there was a good reason, and so you're justified. We might do that, and then we've changed our mind. We're not going to. Defense can't say, but when the jury gets in there, you guys should have been here because 10 minutes before you walked through that door, they were talking about admitting to this crime. That's not admissible. You can't do that. But we know. So this is coming down to why. Mr. Opatorso, I think this is the last. That's why I feel that it's a plan B. First of all, it has such a high risk to it for the defense. The risk of, getting the jury to turn against you, especially if it's extremely traumatic for the daughter to testify, dragging her through that, that could turn the jury against you in a heartbeat. And then all these other facts that you have to now explain away. The premeditation, the buying the bike, the disguise, hiding his face with the mask and riding the bike and parking outside, leaving his car out there so he won't be caught on camera with his car, and all of that, and the hiding afterwards, as far as riding the bike away. That's a lot of in the self-defense of others or defense of others. They have nothing to lose. Nikki, I called it. Per Gigi, judge will not allow this defense to come in. Kathy thinks the judge will state court can limit defense testimony without violating the Constitution. He will not allow it in. Defense of others, it won't come in. Says the child was at school. There was no imminent danger. This just about went off the rails. So with that said, defense probably is going to go and not have any testimony. They might just straight depend on the jury saying, has the state proved it? No, they haven't. They haven't proved that it was him. Well, DNA is a pretty strong proof. Bug Dugger says, don't know what this trial is about, but I do know how to start a train. Choo-choo. Bug Dugger, thank you very much. Appreciate your support of the channel. Whoa. I think we just averted a catastrophe content-wise for YouTube, because if, depending on how this trial goes, the content could have been so spicy that, hello, Judge. Welcome. Hopefully we get to hear this soon. Could have been so spicy that YouTube would have said, that's not for our channel, and that's bad when that happens. Well, the train has started. Carol Engel gifted 5 memberships. Carol, thank you very much for your generosity. This entire case has been confusing. Yes, now we know that defense wanted to say, yes, we did it, but we had a good reason. And now the jury does not know that. But he may testify. He could still, but that's like the very last option available to him. It's going to be terrible. Roro says, choo-choo. Thank you very much, Roro. Another wonderful supporter on the channel. Thank you. Congrats to the new members, Jaded Wonder. Thanks for calling that out. Judge says he understands the defense argument, but it's not South Carolina. He went to someone's house he didn't know and killed her. The child wasn't home. It defeats any argument of defense or others. The judge saw through that pretty well. Now we know he did it. Yes, we do, but we're not the jury. So now if we have a poll, we clearly have information the jury will not have. So it makes our polls be a little bit different. We'll have to ask what the jury's going to decide instead of what would you decide. Carol, no, the jury does not get to know that he was just basically, through his lawyers, admitted to doing it. They're going to be kept in the dark about that. DK gifted 5 memberships as well. DK, thank you. Thank you for generosity. If ZH testifies, though, what could he even say? No cheese pizza allowed in. Seems like that would be a bad choice. Okay, the defense can open the door with cheese pizza, but the judge just ruled that they can't use that defense. So I don't know. I don't know how they could go forward with him testifying. That's wild. DK, thank you for gifting the 5 memberships. We appreciate that. That looks awesome. Jaded Wonder, look, you just got a membership. It's funny how that works. You type in chat and you get a membership. All right. DSN, thank you, DSN, for the super chat and the super sticker. That is wonderful. I was actually on the fence if he was guilty. Now I know, says Special K. Misty Harris comes in with the super sticker as well. Shocked and surprised. That's been my face many times throughout this trial as it just goes from crazy to crazier. Dang it, I was in a meeting and missed it. Lumpy Louise, not really. We all did. We all did, because the judge has done this off camera. Even though the courtroom's been open, Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis has been sort of live tweeting it, and so has Kathy Russin from Law and Crime, reporters in the courtroom. They've given us the updates. Tumwater Troy, good to have you here as well. It comes in with a choo-choo as well. All right, this case makes me mad and sad, Morgan. It is a very sad case, and it's a weird case where most of us don't have a lot of sympathy for the victim, and at the same time, we're trying to justify we don't want to justify the defendant because he's also, apparently committed a crime of murder, which is wrong, and two wrongs don't make it right. Some don't understand the cheese pizza thing. It's a reference. I think it came from Ian Runkle, one of the great pillars of LawTube, that there are some words and some topics, especially harmful, illegal material produced where children are victimized, that if you call it by its name, even in chat, it can really have cause some problems for the channel. First of all, YouTube looks at it and says, okay, whatever you're talking about, it's not for advertisers, so it just demonetizes the channel first. And then if there's too much of it, they might say, this is not something we want on YouTube. So it could go against terms of service depending on how things are brought up and everything else. So we have these little code words. Corn is one and cheese pizza is another. If Zach is convicted, does he have a good chance for appeal? Donna, I think there's some issues that are worth pursuing in the pursuit for an appeal. I think for myself, the biggest one was the judge sort of showing his hand as to what he thought was important in the case. That seemed wrong when it happened. I called it out right when it happened, where he's ruling out that something is extremely probative, and this is very important evidence. The jury was right there, and he put a big gold star on the evidence and handed it to him and said, this is what you need to look at, and it's the incriminating piece of evidence against Zach. Now I realize it's the judge's job to call balls and strikes, and in that case he has to rule on a motion of whether or not something's allowed in or not. But the way he did it, seemed to present to the jury his personal opinion on what was important, and I don't think that's appropriate. Although he'll probably instruct the jury to disregard that if it did come across. Charlene O'Donnell says, I'm on board. All aboard. Choo-choo. Thank you, Charlene. Appreciate that. That was the fifth time you supported a live stream like that. Thank you, Charlene. Cheese pizza is Runkle's reference to Pizzagate. Yeah. Now I want some pizza for dinner. Simply Nikki, this is a wild one. This is crazy. We probably are going to be coming back to court here within a few minutes. If Zach is convicted, his best chance is public support, kind of like Maglione. He seems really guilty, but a good portion of the public really support him, and makes a difference. It can make a difference. The court system isn't designed to take into account the Democratic vote as far as who likes the defendant or not. There's not really a mechanism aside from a pardon, where if enough people write to the governor and say, look, we really want you to pardon this guy, I don't see where popular vote would hold sway over the sentence, unless of course the jury is exposed to that. And that's why we try to keep the jury separate. They're not supposed to hear anything about the case. They're not supposed to talk about it. They're supposed to be able to be impartial and keep their own personal feelings, as far as, anything that they'd heard before the case out of it. How did his lawyers admit guilt? They basically told the judge, we'd like to switch our strategy here, Judge, and we're going to go with it was self-defense or the defense of another, which by definition is saying, yes, I did it, but there was a good reason. And that good reason meets the standard, which, according to defense, which means that I would not be accountable, or I could not be convicted of the crime of murder because I was protecting someone else, and I was doing a legally protected thing, which is the self-defense of another. To do that, to get there, you have to say, I did it, but, and bringing that up to the judge, and it was just the judge, the jury doesn't know this, is basically an admission that, yes, he did it, or at least he's going to say he did it. Bite me. I cannot give out the list of banned words and codes. I can tell you that just creating that list of banned words of codes, it makes me blush even to read it. There's a lot of words on there. It's not just George, Carlin's 7 dirty words. There's a lot of words on that list. All right, somebody said they're new here. Who was that? I just missed that. Said, I'm new here. Oh, I'm falling way behind. Oh, right here. Patricia, I'm new here. Have a great day. Patricia, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Welcome. Make sure you click you did. You already clicked the subscribe button. That's half the battle. Simply Nikki, how is this allowed? Shouldn't he be charged? Kathy says, gifted a membership. Thank you. Nikki, I'm not sure what you mean on this. Shouldn't he be charged? He is charged with murder. But Wendy, by proxy, you have an Amazon package arriving at the post office today. I had 2 packages already. One very large one, which my kids are playing with. Thank you. That was a box full of Legos, and by full, I'm talking 14 pounds of Legos. Thank you. I'm glad our kids are putting to use the Legos your kids don't use anymore. So they're loving it. I can hear them. Well, now they're banging something in the kitchen, but I can hear them playing. And the other one I haven't opened, but I have an idea what it is. It's a little soft. It's soft and it has a base, and it's green and it's shaped like this, but it doesn't yell. All right, Lisa Olson, thank you very much for the super sticker or super chat. Thank you for that. Is 2 a.m. too late for pizza? No. Pizza's good anytime. It's just not room temperature pizza. Okay, I'm missing a ton. Holy cow. Let me back up here. Simply Nikki, thank you very much for the super chat. Kathy gifted a membership. Lisa Olson, thank you. Sloth Life, I can't see anything pass by me. Choo choo. Don't let that train leave. Kim R says, choo choo, I'm on the train. Thank you. Susie H comes with a huge super sticker. Thank you very much, Susie H. I appreciate that. Natalie O says, thanks, R.A. You are the best. Natalie, thanks for the kind words. It wouldn't be the same without you here, though. I appreciate your support. Jennifer Juniper, member for 13 months, says, never a dull moment here. Every trial, we seem to run into just wild stuff. Alexis, member for 1 month, member of the jury. Alexis, thank you very much for your support. Glad to see that you got a brand new colored courthouse. That's going to change next month as well. Simply Nikki says, oh, that's my bad. Y'all, I didn't know. I came in late last week, and this case is confusing. Simply Nikki, you are not alone. This case is incredibly confusing. Especially there's like main components that the judge doesn't let anyone talk about. And then there's these other weird things that we are talking about. And players all over the place. It's a massive web. It's not just a neat little family or a single relationship. This is a made-for-TV type situation with a full cast and supporting roles. All of them have come into court, and it's a little confusing, especially just to pick up on just a couple days. Bite Me member for 25 months says, this is the best place to be. Love you, Scott, and Buttercup sends butter sugars to you and everyone. She said, you're a big baby for crying this morning. I am. I banged my elbow, and it's starting to hurt a little bit. Like, just, I might get a bruise. Something, maybe a little scar I can show off. Andrew C. gifted a membership as well. Thank you, Andrew, for your support. You guys are all amazing. Let's see. Alexis gifted a membership. Thank you. And Jen in South Carolina, you're the lucky recipient. In my opinion, the judge isn't going to budge on this issue, but at least it's on the record for appeal. If defense can't bring in the essay in defense of others, they have nothing. Okay, so appeal might be their plan. They might say, hey, we wanted to do this, but the judge wouldn't allow it. Of course, it was late. It was late in the game, but they might say, yeah, it's late, but he has the right to do this. And we believe there was facts that would support it. The judge was wrong in keeping it out. They'll add that to the list of the appeal. The judge was wrong in keeping it out. The judge was wrong in allowing the DNA in. The judge was wrong in telling the jury what evidence is important for them to understand. They'll make a list of all these things and write it up in one big appeal and send it off to the appellate court and hope that some of it sticks. But it's a low chance, like 1 in 10 might get looked at. Super T, upgraded membership to jury. Super T, thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome. The jury seats have padded chairs. The front row is it's a hard, sort of a bench, but a saved seat up there. But now you have a padded chair. I'm lost. Was a mom abusive to the child? Colleen, that is what we're hearing. The mom and Mr. Post, who's currently in custody, facing charges for that. Let's see. I could read this one, Mindful Crafts by Donna, but I think it will just perpetuate the problem. We've got some more updates in mod chat. This is also from Gigi. Defense argues more, saying Zach went there with the sole purpose of protecting the child. The judge has gone back into chambers. So the judge rules on this and says, no, we're not going to allow it. And defense says, but consider this. Do the attorneys get lazy boys? Of course, they get the leather seats. Attorneys get leather seats. More than just that little cushion that the jury gets, and definitely better than the hard bench that the gallery gets. Alyssa, this is a wonderful community, extremely generous, incredibly supportive, and even though we don't always agree with each other, as a matter of fact, most of the time we don't all agree, we're still friends. We found this is a fun place to have discussion where we don't necessarily all agree, but we do it in a respectful manner and learn from each other. Sometimes I change my mind, sometimes I change your mind, but it's fun. I love this community, and it's incredibly generous. You're going to find friends here really quickly. Okay. Kathy Russin might have a tweet that needs to be looked at. Just 1 second. Kathy Russin from Law and Crime. Whoa, she's got a hard copy of this. Let me see if I can read this. Motion filed by Zachary Hughes' defense didn't hold anything back. Indy Jen, I think, was the one who. Let's see. Indy Jen is the one who posted this. Trying to get. Okay, let me try to read this here. It's a hard picture. This is from the filing defense side. John Mello fancies himself as a music industry personality, musician, and music producer. Christina Purcell was a prostitute who advertised on the internet and who sold drugs. In 2012, they had a child together, a daughter. AM as initials. They never married, and Parcell did not seek custody or even full visitation rights with AM. Mello had primary custody of AM for most of her first 11 years. However, Parcell had some visitation rights, and AM would often spend the night with Parcell during her periods of visitation. During these custody battles, Parcell developed a romantic relationship with a man named Brad Post, who was old enough to be Parcell's father and who was or was at least perceived to be very wealthy. Parcell and Post ultimately got engaged. Post and Parcell's relationship greatly concerned Mello. Parcell's prior life as a prostitute and a drug distributor, coupled with Post's wealth and creepiness, prompted Mello to wonder if AM was safe when she was with Parcell and Post. She was not. Then there's the allegations of abuse. Whoa, yeah, this is spicy filings, and that was page. What page was that? That was on page 3. That was just shared there. Oh, it's Indy Jan. Why was I not following you before? You were following me, and I know I'm following you. Oh, she's at Fitz News, researcher at Fitz News. That's awesome. Indy Jen, thank you. Thank you very much for digging that up.
I'm not a camel.
Man. All right, it's Laurie, you're asking a hard question, and you know I have to talk to Mrs. R.A. to get the answers to this one. I don't know their birthdays, let alone their ages. I'm really, really challenged when it comes to dates. Christy G says, I'm in the courtroom now, so I can't hear RA. But yes, I'm here. I'm in the courtroom. Christy, thank you very much. We have a court watcher there, so Christy, you might be able to call in once this is over and give us a breakdown. Anna Banana, yes, you did receive a membership. That is awesome. Katie Bug says, don't let me be the caboose. Don't let me be the caboose, please. I don't want to be last. Katie Bug, thank you very much. Hedgehog in Space, thank you. My phone is blowing up right now with people sending various links to Twitter posts. From Indy Jen, from Kathy Russin, from Jen Wood at Fitz News has a lot of details. Fitz News, we learned amazing local news down there for the Murdaugh trial as well. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just got the picture. Proud male spouse. I appreciate that. The kids are absolutely loving it. Judge decided to take another break, so we sit. It's packed in here, says Christy, from the courtroom. Evidently, the escort was the past. The pizza was ongoing. I think this is spam. Hello? 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 Oh, I tried. Let's see. Lindsay Bay can't be let out. Left out. She means left out. Can't be left out. Lindsay Bay, you are not left out. You're just the caboose. And the caboose is just as important. So thank you. The jury there to decide, did he do it, not why. Right. Unless the burden shifts on self-defense or defense of another, then they have to decide if the state has proven. Okay, there are two burdens, right? The first burden, if the defense does not say it was self-defense or defense of another, the burden is, did the state prove that it was the defendant who did it, that the victim died, that it happened in the county where we claim jurisdiction, and that any other elements of the crime are met. If the state proved that, they would say guilty. If defense says, the state presents all their evidence and defense says, but it was self-defense or defense of another, then the burden shifts back to the state to prove that it wasn't self-defense or defense of another. And then at that point, the jury has to consider the first factors, although usually it's an admission from the defense that it happened. And the second factor is, did the state prove that it was not self-defense. In this case, the state will just be, unless the judge changes his ruling this morning, the state will just be considering if he did it or not, if he's guilty. And it's not looking good for Zach right now. So, Samantha says, Christy G, please tell Gigi and Christy, thank you, that you're both getting a lot of support from Recovery Addict in chat. Thank you. You guys are amazing. I appreciate the great work you do. This is why I feel it's so important for people to go to court, because a lot of things happen that we can't see. And if we didn't have reporters and court watchers in court this morning, we would be staring at the wall saying, I wonder if the jurors are late. I wonder if somebody's stuck in the snow. We would have nothing to go on. So we definitely appreciate the court watchers and what they're able to get for us. Midlife Mania. This is the defense that defense wanted to present today. They wanted to switch in the middle of trial to say, this is what we want to present. The judge is ruling no because it's so late in the trial. They've up to this point, all the time between when he was arrested till now, they've been saying it wasn't me. And now in the middle of trial, they want to say, but I did it for the kid, which is no, it's a little late. Katie Bug, if he confessed in judge's chambers, could he just rule guilty and end the trial? No, because he's not the one who decides on guilt and innocence. He decides if evidence comes in or not. So he's the referee, but the jury decides. And the information that the judge got in chambers saying we'd like to just say, yes, we did it, but we had a good reason, is not admissible to the jury. The jury will not hear that before they deliberate. So far, these trials have had twists and turns. Another wild trial. Stevie, everything that's happened has happened while we've been staring at this picture on the wall. Nothing has been shown to the media or broadcast. But we know that there was discussion in the judge's chambers. Both sides went in and talked about issue this morning. It appears that the defense, now that the state has rested, said, by the way, we would like to, if we're filing a motion, we'd like to use in the defense of others, self-defense type claim. And they put forth an argument as to why Zach should be allowed to present that and say, yes, I did it, but it was for a good reason and I'm justified. The judge ruled that was not allowed, and also off camera. We did not hear any of this, the argument and anything else. And defense, after the judge ruled, said, but judge, that's the only reason he went there. He went there to save the child. That's his purpose for showing up. The judge is possibly reconsidering right now, but we still have a little bit of break. It's possible that we could just begin with the jury and turn it over to defense case in chief. The evidentiary portion right now. Yes. Bug Dugger. It's so nice that South Carolina allows phones in the courtroom, courthouse, let alone the courtroom. Tennessee says no to butt pillows. Some courts are extremely strict. I have been to a court where they said you're not allowed to have notepads and paper in the audience. Like, are you serious? I can't jot down some notes unless you're a reporter. Like, that's too far for me. That's too far. On the train, what a wild trial, and the people inside the courtroom are outstanding. Yes, they are, Lulu. Thank you very much. We've got Christy G in there for the channel watching today, and what a day to be watching. She says it's a packed courtroom, absolutely packed, and a lot going on. If he confesses in the judge's chambers, would that not make the judge a witness? No. Those sort of meetings are not evidence, and this is not him confessing. It's his attorneys saying we're filing a motion to the judge to see if you will allow us to do this, and they haven't formally done that. He hasn't stood up and said, It was self-defense or defense of another in court, and so that wouldn't be evidence against him. We just know that he's agreed with his attorneys that he's willing to do that. My head is spinning. Well, it's been a crazy day. If the judge allows any portion of this in, I would be surprised, very surprised. But because he admitted it, will John's charges change? No. The charges are the same. It would just adds Stonehouse it just adds a burden to the state, if the judge allows it, to then prove that it wasn't in self-defense of another. Because the burden to say it was self-defense, the burden to raise it is on the defense. That's the only burden they ever carry, is to say, but it was in self-defense. And that's about all they have to do. Or it was in defense of another. That's all they have to do. And then the burden shifts back to the state to say, no, it wasn't. And this is why. Have we had a trial that we all thought would be really spicy and turned out to be a nothing burger? We've had trials that we were all geared up to watch, and then the morning court was supposed to begin. The defendant took a plea deal. So if that counts, yes. Do they have pianos in prison? Some do. I've seen some. I know a lot of them have, a lot of prisons have like a non-denominational chapel for religious services, and some of those have pianos. Yes, they keep a close eye on the piano wire. You can't be stealing those cables because those are dangerous. All right. How old's the child? She's a teenager now, I believe, like 13. So he has admitted it. If the judge doesn't allow this defense, shouldn't that mean mistrial? No. You can't cause your own mistrial. It's probably going to be an issue the defense chooses to appeal if he's convicted. This would be something that they're preserving for the record for appeal. Any thoughts on the defense, on how the defense will close if denied this? They can't use shaggy defense as it would be lying for their client. The defense doesn't have to get up and say it wasn't me. Defense can get up and say there's no evidence to prove that it was my client. There, the fact that there was a bike, my client had a bike, and there was a bike that was used in this crime does not mean that Zachary did it. But they have to get around the DNA, which is 1 in world pop chance of his DNA being underneath her fingernails. In and out. Sorry, RA, can you tell us what's happening right now? Thank you. Amanda, right now we're waiting for the judge to, I guess, finalize his ruling or waiting for jury to start. That was 20 minutes ago. But it's just, we've waited for court to start all morning. And everything we've heard about court has come from either like Jen Wood at Fitz News, Kathy Russin, who's been tweeting out about this as well, and Christy is our court watcher in court today. Zach has a YouTube channel. He plays Chopin version, I think it's Chopin, right? Of Happy Birthday. I couldn't help but think of you. He does have a YouTube. He also has an Instagram. A lot of videos. He plays beautifully. He has incredible skill on the piano. Katie Russin gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Katie. That is super generous of you. Congratulations to the winners. I've been saying world pop now too. I hope this DNA expert did not do that, but I hope every DNA expert, like from now on, like that becomes the standard. They just say 1 in world pop. That would make one of the most painful portions of trial go a lot faster. All right. Sorry, the tweets are going wild. Mod chat is going wild as well. Zachary Hughes has one side full of supporters and more on the other side. Christina has 4 people in the state side. Okay, so this is something the jury will see. And they might even, although the members in the audience are not supposed to be making facial expressions or shaking their head or nodding or yeah, yep. Tell them you can't do that. You basically have to sit poker faced in the gallery, or the judge and the bailiff can throw you out and maybe even do more, hold you in contempt. But I think the jury can see. I mean, for instance, if there are notable people in the music world in South Carolina, in Greenville, like, if the mayor is there and if people that are well recognized, I don't know why the mayor would be notable in the music world, but if there are well recognized people that are clearly sitting right behind Zachary, that can definitely present the idea that there are a lot of people supporting him. What's the difference between Discord and Patreon? Darlene, it's me. Patreon is I don't have a Patreon, first of all. I don't have a Discord either, so in that case, they're the same. But Discord is a platform that allows you to share data, information, hang out with people, and talk about a single topic. In this case, true crime. On Discord, as the gavel drops, Discord page, they talk about true crime, all the cases that are happening, the filings, what documents are available, what court dates are coming up in all the cases. Patreon is more of a way to support a creator or a group where you can say, I'm going to donate money and I'll be a member in Patreon. And sometimes there can be some rewards given, some access to exclusives and stuff like that. But Patreon is a way to support a creator. Discord is a place for information. Bree Wardell says, off subject, but how do you win a gifted membership? Bree, there's just one little place you have to go, and you have to make sure that your setting is turned on to allow gifted memberships on your channel. And that is, as Josh posted right here, he's going to post a link. If you click on it right when it pops up, just 1 second, right there. Click on that, make sure it moves the slider off to the right to say, yes, I'm willing to accept a gift if I'm chosen and one is offered on YouTube. And that's all you need to do. Then you have to wait and get lucky because it's entirely YouTube that chooses. Let's see. Kathy Davis says, I've tried every day to tune into this trial. And so far, each time it is either breaks or private discussions. I am yet to see any of it. Kathy, I'm sorry. It's been that way all morning as well. That's terrible. It's an interesting trial. It really, really is. But it takes... This is probably one of the hardest ones to understand the players and who's connected and why and how. There's some weird webs were woven here. The audience would have no bearing on my opinion as a juror. Ali B, that's the way it should be. Let's see. Judge is here. Second time we've watched him take a drink this morning. Maybe. Oh, he's grabbing his stuff. He's leaving again. Oh. Let's see if we can get an update from our friends in the courtroom. Watch for posts from Christy as well. Pantoufle gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Pantoufle. Andrew Nolan says the allegations against the mother are shocking and appalling. Feel awful for the daughter. Terrible situation all around. Yes, I don't have a lot of sympathy for the victim in this case. He's chomping ice from the cup. Yes. The judge grabbed his notepad and then walked out. So it might be just a couple more minutes. I missed the slurping sound opportunity. Plus, his mic was turned off, so you'd know it was me. All right. More buffer mod chat. The judge denied the motion. Once we get the jury in, the defense will do their opening arguments. All right, so confirmed the judge has denied it the second time. Tons of supporters for Zach there. So now we're just waiting on the jury. Okay, court's going to begin soon. Lay, when I say I don't have a lot of sympathy for the victim, I still believe that it's wrong to murder, right? Being a horrible person does not make it right for somebody to murder you. I believe that the court system should be followed, and if the death penalty is appropriate, then the court system should be the avenue for that, not vigilante justice. In this case, it appears that the victim in this case and her fiance were involved in the production of material that harmed children, specifically her daughter. And for that reason, I'm not very sympathetic, but I still think it was wrong. Cynthia, they have not allowed the bad stuff into trial. They have danced around it as closely as they possibly could from every angle, and it's not been allowed in yet. Sherry, I'll have to take a look at that case, South Carolina versus Brandon Barnes. I have enjoyed the trials we followed from South Carolina, and honestly, it makes me tempted to just drive down there because I'm only, if it's in Greenville, it's only about 6 or 7 hours away. Aurora Feed, the proof is not in this case. The proof is in other cases and people that are currently incarcerated regarding that. I need some more water. Hang on one second. So this is neither here nor there. I was cleaning out my wallet, which I do about once a year, whether I need to or not. Basically, when it gets too fat to close, and I have no money in there anyway, it's just like receipts. I save receipts. I don't know why I carry a wallet because I don't carry money. Although a couple IDs about it. I was cleaning up my wallet and I found the receipt for the last time I went to Red Lobster. Not this last time, like over the weekend, but the time before that. And it was the day before Red Lobster went bankrupt. So I've got that receipt, and now the new receipt for the lobster, which turned out to be just a fairly medium-sized crawdad. Anyway, I found that. Anyway, when I grabbed my water bottle, I accidentally grabbed the receipt. That's why that came up. Nurse Kate, I don't know how the facts came out other than in this case, I think it was not known to police what was going on with the daughter until they found pictures on Post's phone. I think it was Post's phone that they found information on, and that was after that he called 911 to say, "Hey, there's been a murder." So that's how police became aware. This is why Red Lobster is bankrupt, because the people who can afford it would rather eat somewhere else. They serve pretty good crawdad. So, they told me it was lobster. It was, I would say it was a juvenile lobster at best. Infant stage. It was much smaller than the salmon fillet that came with it. And when it was laid out next to the shrimp, which I think were like 31-40 count shrimp as far as the size goes, it fit right in. All right. Yesterday morning was the lobster. Yes, if you go back, I told the lobster story yesterday morning. If you want to hear it, it was. I can laugh about it now. That's called rock lobster. They said it was a Maine lobster. I have a George Costanza wallet. Yes, it was small. Lizzie, yes, it was reported prior to unaliving. It was just after the evidence on devices was found that this other case started really rolling forward. They're called chick lobsters. was a Maine baby lobster. I went to the wrong place and ordered the wrong thing. All right, court's going to start here in just a little bit. We can talk about the lobster on the podcast maybe. Need to go to the coast, go to a mom and pop place that sells seafood. I had some people that did some research. I don't know what part of the country you're from, but researched my area and found me a couple places where they suggest to buy seafood from. And there's a seafood outlet that just sells fresh seafood, including lobster, from up and down the coast, and it's about 2 miles away from me. So I might have to go there. Fitz News just tweeted some more about the spicy stuff. Looking for more of it. I don't see it yet. Pretty Lies and Alibis, Gigi in courtroom as well, says, we're on another break while Zachary Hughes and his attorneys huddle. I would assume maybe discussing him taking the stand. That would be interesting. I think a bad idea. Kathy Russin tweets out, this might be the law, but the jury is going to be upset after this trial that the judge will not allow Zachary Hughes to tell the jury why he did what he did regarding the child abuse materials. Judge says he's limiting the defense and he's limiting the defense of others' defense. So he's not allowing that I did it to defend somebody else. Ian. Then after that, there would be no reason for him to testify, I don't think. Gigi's done a great job following this court from inside the courtroom, following this trial. What happens if he just blurts it out? You can't cause your own mistrial. He could be held in contempt. Jen Swan, it's too soon. It's too soon. Don't share the stories quite yet. Is your shirt blue or gold? It's purple. It's purple. Fitz News tweets out a little more excerpt from the motion. Let me read that to you while we're waiting for the judge to come back. Now, this is from a screenshot that they've tweeted out of the motion printout itself. Let's see. Zach did more to try to save the child. In June and July of 21, Zach mailed publicly available pornographic images of Parcell to Parcell, her neighbors, Post, and others in the hopes that these mailings would prompt Parcell to realize that at least some people knew what she was doing to the child. Zach also hoped these mailings would prompt law enforcement, the guardian ad litem, and the family court to fully investigate the child's home life and discover the abuse. Zach was wrong. The recipients of the mailings did not act on them. Zach submitted an affidavit to the guardian ad litem and the family court on September 21, 2021, in which he alleged that the child needed to be with Mello for her own good. The affidavit had no impact whatsoever. In a last-ditch effort, Zach called DSS at the end of September, beginning of October of 2021, and reported to DSS personnel that AM, the child, was being abused. DSS did nothing. With Mello in Italy, with law enforcement and the family court not acting to stop Post and Parcell, with the knowledge that Post and Parcell had unfettered access to the child every day, and with the knowledge that Parcell was a sociopath and Post was a wealthy fan of child pizza, Zach knew that he was the child's only chance of survival. Quote, I thought I had to act to save the child's life. I told myself I can't go on with my great life and leave her to drown. Zach went about saving the child. That's in the motion. That is wild. So he literally says, I did the stalking and harassment to try to get attention to the issue. I think Zach was being manipulated by Mello. I think Zach's basically saying I did it on my own. And maybe he's trying to cover for Mello in this, but no, I cleaned out my wallet, Laurie. There's nothing in it now. It's empty. I'm ready for more receipts. Please don't tell me you still think the jury has watched an accused killer receive crowds of fans and not one has snuck a peek online. Why this is the case? Ivan, I have to believe that the system works. I have to believe this. This is a core fact I cannot step away from. I believe that the jury follows the judge's instructions. I really do. Katie Bug, remember the judge ordered a 30-minute delay of media trial to delay the start of trial. Just saying, right? When the court feed begins, we'll bring it to you. But ridiculous, this isn't coming in. How is that not relevant? What is happening? Well, we just read a couple excerpts, thanks to Fitz News, by the way. Fitz News, thanks for sharing the post from the pages from the motion that the defense filed today, trying to change the way the court's proceeding to allow the defense to say we did it in the defense of another. Meaning, instead of saying not guilty, it's I did it, but I had a reason and it was justified. The defense shows that he tried to alert authorities. They have to let this in. Tiger Lily, the judge just ruled and said it's not coming in. It's not going to be allowed. And it could be because it's this late in the day, this last-minute switch. Had he done this all along, I think it would have been a much better choice for him. But it seems, doesn't that seem wrong a little bit when you think this through? If his sole purpose was to help the child and get her out of this bad situation, why wouldn't he say something at the get-go? Why? I mean, he just lawyers up and does nothing. Could this not be looked at and said, yeah, you got all this bad evidence against you, and you've taken all these years to build a story to try to get these pieces to make him look like the good guy. It's a nice story, not coming in. Can't you see from the state's perspective on this that this could just be a spin on the facts that are against him? Didn't the judge say they would revisit this earlier decision? Virginia, I think we don't know exactly what it was that he said he would revisit. I didn't hear the full intro into that saying, this is the topic that we're going to talk about later. So there was something that had been raised, and that's normal in court. There could be a motion where we say, hey, Your Honor, this is coming up. We think we should be allowed this, or that should be not allowed in. And the judge might say, okay, let's hold on that. Put a pin in it. We're going to talk about that later. It's not pertinent right now, but we'll discuss it later. So we just don't know if that was this or something else. At least be honest and admit it from the start. I think it would raise his credibility if at the very beginning he said, I did it for this reason. Ian Crawford, thanks for clicking the subscribe button. In just 4 more minutes, you're going to be allowed to chat. We have to have a 5-minute delay because there are a lot of trolls that pop in, especially on days where court is really hopping and busy. So welcome. Look forward to seeing you in chat here. But I said that what the lawyer decides, not you. The lawyer decides how to go about this, and what comes out, he doesn't decide. I don't think, anyways. There are some decisions that you as a defendant get to make, and some decisions your lawyer gets to make. And it's true that the actual approach, the theory of defense, a lot of that does sit on the shoulders of the defense attorneys, and they can decide how that sort of is shaped and how that looks. This level of defense, that would have to be Zach's call. I don't believe that he could have said to his lawyers at the get-go, I want to go in there and tell them why I did this at the very beginning, and them say, we're just going to plead not guilty and just don't say anything. We'll see if we can beat the case and keep the state from proving the elements of the case. And then if we lose, then we're going to go your way. Don't think that would happen. Zach's trying to play both sides. He tried concealing his actions, but now has no problem being heralded as a white knight hero. Sorry, dude. Pick a lane. Who said there was proof of pictures on Post's phone? The police, when they arrested him for it. Army Mom. When they took his phone and found the pictures. He was the one that was wearing belly chains and handcuffs when he was brought into court, wearing the orange jumpsuit. Still, why the overkill? I think using the explanation that we saw there, that could explain it a little bit on the overkill. We're still not back, but we should be back soon. I think we're just waiting the jury now. When we come back with the jury, remember the defense has not given their opening statement. They deferred, which is it's like flipping a coin, saying we're going to get the ball in the second half. We want to start with the ball in the second half. That's what they did. And the first thing we expect from the defense is for them to give a opening statement now that the state is all done. That opening statement is not an argument, right? It's not like a closing argument where you really get to tie the pieces together and sort of stray from your lane a little bit. All this statement should be is what the jury will hear from the defense witnesses. That's it. It's got to be. It can't be like, well, the state tried to sell you this bill of goods, and boy, are they wrong. You can't. That's closing argument stuff. So, if they give an opening statement, it then stands to reason that they are in fact presenting witnesses to testify. Who would they call? They call Mello? I don't think so. Mello is facing his own charges for conspiracy, criminal conspiracy, and harassment. Anything he testifies can be used against him in that trial, and that won't be good. So I think you would plead the fifth. Don't lobsters have to be a certain size and weight to be caught? Don't they have to throw back the small ones? I don't know what the size is, but this one, it was small. It was small. I don't think they're going to call the child because that's not allowed to come in. If they don't call Mello, the only reasonable person left to call that's really closely connected to this case that we've heard anything about would be Zach himself, and he takes the stand, and his testimony is going to be narrowed to the point where he can't say I did it because. So I don't know what they'll do at all. They might just rest. The defense might just rest as soon as the jury comes back in. All right, updates are coming in. Thank you for those. Okay, our feed will be live in half an hour. So now here's the point where the court watchers are ahead of us by half an hour. That's because the judge ordered a delay. The delay is in case something happens in court that should not go out to the public, because there is some stuff. There's some stuff here that should not go out. The judge ordered that delay, and the media in court has to clip that out before it goes to the public. So start your timers. In half an hour, we're gonna have a feed. Let's see. Debbie Smith, yes, they do. I met a kid when I was over in England whose hands were insured for $1 million. I imagine there are a lot of things he's not allowed to do or would not be covered under that insurance. But his name was Jono, and he played it. He could like be playing like Bach, and like slowly transition to, I don't know, ragtime. And there was never a point where like, and it switched right here. It was just like, it was one song where like it started out as Bach, and now I'm listening to ragtime, and I don't know when it switched. He was so good at just blending things. Kathy Russell brought up a good point on X. He's dead in the water now because he can't say why he did it, but we know he did. Wonder what the jury will hear about all this. They won't. They won't hear that he said he did it. That's for sure. Unless it comes out of his own mouth. And if it does, he's in trouble because the judge won't allow him to say why he did it. So why not have this defense from the jump? Green-eyed cat. Hindsight was probably, this was the thing you should have done. Virginia, if he does that, he'll probably be in contempt of court, and the jury might be instructed that that is not to be considered. You can't cause your own mistrial, right? That's self-serving. Otherwise, every time you go to trial, you could just testify and say something and blow up the case, and it gets reset and reset and reset, and you never get convicted. And Steve says they'll come back for 2 minutes and break for lunch.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Mel says, my hubby's hands are insured. I told him to lose a pinky. I want a pool. just a couple knuckles. A couple knuckles will get us that new pool. Mel, this is I used to work in a steel factory, a steel mill, where we took sheets of steel, like from rolls of steel, and we'd bend them into shapes that were used for building construction, like rain gutters and roof caps and things like that for metal buildings. And our company policy, the employee manual, it had a section on if you lose a finger, how much it pays. Like if you lose, for your fingers, you get basically $5,000 per knuckle that you lose. and I'm like, wow, looking at the employee manual, that's a little dark, that we have to put that in there. And, sadly, people knew it. And I don't think anyone purposefully did it, but a couple people did get paid because, accidents happened. This is taking a hot minute, I think it is. I think defense will just rest. Okay, so Amanda, here's our catch now. Media is half an hour behind. Twitter is live. So we have reporters and like Christy in the courtroom that are watching live, and we are half an hour back by judge's order. So at this point, do we say no spoilers, or what do you want to do? Do you want to hear what's going to happen and then see it play out? It's going to be hard. Yeah, Christy won the lottery going to court. Amber, I'm ghosting you. Toxic, thank you very much. Okay, Amber's sending me some pictures. Defense tells the jury Zach will tell them why he killed Christina Parcell. Okay. Only fictional spoilers. I think here's the deal. There are so many different ways to get spoilers right now. Everyone's getting spoilers at the same time. The only thing we can do is basically run with it and then watch it play out. So we've been listening to spoilers all morning. We get it twice if it's spicy. I'm going to make that call. I realize it's that, or we try to fight. It's like trying to hold back the tide. Okay, it's so impossible. A lot of people will pop in, and just be like, I just opened up social media and Kathy Russell just tweeted this, and we're like, no, that was what we didn't want to know. It's impossible, and we can't blame them for wanting to share with their closest, a couple thousand friends. But no, it's okay, Amanda, you're good. I'm saying, spoilers are fine. Tweety tweet. This is why spoilers are fine today. In this case only. Court is back right now. Court is happening. The judge has ordered a 30-minute delay on the live stream. So basically, the video camera records half an hour after they hit the record button and people start talking to the jury, then we see it. So the people in court, like the reporters and court watchers who have their phones, are watching in real time and saying, hey, you'll never guess what just happened, and they tweet out the tweet. And so we're going to hear half an hour before it happens and then watch it. So once it actually gets going, we'll be caught up in the video itself. But we do expect Zach to take the stand. I expect it to get spicy. I expect it to be objections. Donna's like, I started watching this trial before this channel did, and I kept my mouth shut. Donna, thank you. Everyone's getting the spoilers though from so many different angles. There are so many people. We could say no spoilers, but it's impossible to enforce, especially when there's so many people interested. The 30-minute delay is only because some judges are concerned that something happens in court that should not be public, that something is said, usually outside the presence of the jury, which was highly, should not be out. It's too much of a problem. And they have, and there have been times, I believe, in this trial, if you go back and watch the old feeds, where we had just have cuts. Like go try to find the video of. Let's see. So a different trial did this. Never mind. I can't think of the example. But we've had bits that are cut out by the judge's orders. I think I had a bit of that in Corey Richens, one of the hearings. The judge ordered the media not to air a certain portion. Let's see if we can update the pinned message to let people know that we're getting updates 30 minutes ahead of the feed from Twitter. Camilla, be fast. Be fast. We couldn't find day 1, part 2 in this trial. You're right. That's one of them. But I think that was fixed after the fact for some reason. Spoilers with sources in AMA formats are allowed. This trial was way more spicy than I expected, to be honest, this court. I predict Zachary will take the stand and let it all out. He's got nothing to lose. Babs says, I'm still feeling the effects of being sedated from my emergency oral surgery, so everything is going to be new to me. Babs, I hope you get feeling better. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we can make that recovery process go a little faster. We'll probably have to watch him testify on the replay. I have a podiatrist appointment at noon, Texas time, for this large heel spur. Heel spur. Hopefully they can fix it, Amanda. And then you can get back to running those marathons. We'll have to have an AI song made of this whole crazy thing. Okay, I'm gonna take a look here on the Twitter webs just to get an idea of what. Let's see. Wish they'd all use the same. Let's see, Rose Petal murder, maybe. Christina Parcell. So it should be live in 16 minutes. We'll be live with that. The judge will not allow Zachary Hughes to tell the jury why he did what he did, says Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis, regarding the child abuse materials. The judge says he's limiting the defense of others. Lynn Taylor says, I want to be the 1,000th like. Well, there are 2 more. I need 2 more people to click it, and we'll be at 1,000. There was one more. Next one is it. And 1,024. We got 25 likes in one update. So congratulations. All of you were the 1,000th like. Now we're at 1080. So picked up 100 there in the last minute. Taz says, it's interesting to see the support for vigilante justice. Reminds me of the support for the suspected unaliving of the insurance guy in New York. Unaliving is wrong. Taz, I'm with you on that. I also feel at a basic level, like at a core level, that I can't be okay with murder. I can't condone murder, even if it's to get back at a murderer, right? It just means that we're sinking to the level of the criminal, right? Somebody else breaks the law, and we're saying, because they broke the law, I'm going to break the law to make it right. And that doesn't work. It devolves us as a society. Where in Twitter are you getting the update? Maria G, there are a couple places that I really think you should follow. Let me toss these out for you. Pretty Lies and Alibis, and the "and" is the ampersand symbol. This is Gigi. She hosts Pretty Lies and Alibis on YouTube. The channel's the same on X. So Pretty Lies and Alibis. She's been in the courtroom every day. Kathy Russin from Law and Crimes channel, also on YouTube, on Twitter, has been giving updates on this as well. Fitz News, FITZ News, in South Carolina, local to the courthouse, has been giving some great updates there. Let's see who else. Who else has been providing some good ones? Zach should plead no contest and flip on Mello. I don't think he was offered a deal on this, was he? Court is taking a lunch break. Is this factual, JVA? I think you've been pretty good on what you've been calling so far. Did we get a quick opening statement? Tagged you on the lunch tweet. Thank you, Kathy. I saw that. At least I saw it come in. Let me read it really quickly. Okay, thank you. We're taking a break. We are breaking for lunch to allow the witness to get here. Back at 1:30. Wow. Ivan says, I'm reading this only because of one word you stuck in here, Ivan. I'm actually a fan of vigilante justice. What I'm not a fan of is LARPing as a vigilante only after your original defense has failed. LARPing, the word LARP is an acronym, live action role play. It's oftentimes associated with people who dress up as knights and pretend to fight each other with swords, but live action role play. Let's see, which means the feed will start at 2. This is insane going on lunch break. We're going to listen to a little bit, so give us a minute. We'll get about 15 minutes of court before we go on break. So hold tight, and we'll hear a little bit. But the health insurance CEO denied a lot of people their insurance, which caused a lot to not make it. How can you be okay with this just because it is not called unaliving? Senator P, it's not that he was, I mean, I'm fine with a lot of people being very upset. I mean, I myself have fought battles with insurance companies and lost and had to pay a lot of money for necessary procedures for my kids. It's terrible. It's terrible. And the reasons, the excuses, the red tape they make you jump through, it's terrible. No matter how much that happens, I can't be okay with murder. I can't be okay with saying it's okay for me to kill because I don't agree with how you did something. Even if I'm right. I can't. I think that hurts us as a society. Are you pro death penalty? I believe there's a place for it. I will say this. I believe it has 100% track record as far as zero recidivism. It works. That person will not commit that same crime again. I at the same time, I believe that it's an extreme measure, and I think that we as a society and courts tend to throw people's lives away too easily. Okay. But does not stop others. This is a hard one to track. How well it incentivizes or de-incentivizes others from committing the same crime is tough to really spell out on paper. Bundy did get the death penalty, didn't he? Fun fact, Bundy, I thought, tried to abduct somebody at my high school. Like one of the last people. Yeah, sad fact, not a fun fact. But I believe she got away. I'm vague on the. I think she's one of the few that actually got away from him, and possibly, or was the reason why he got caught, or something like that. Just about every state has one of those stories. Look up Ted Bundy, Viewmont High School. All right, waiting just moments now. We should get. Let's see, I'm trying to see. Breaking for lunch. Yeah, I don't know how he can testify and not tell the jury why he did it. I don't remember the lady's name. This sounds right. There was like a play at the high school, and he pretended to be like somebody. It's one of the rumors that goes around the school, because that school had tunnels underground, which I've been in. They're a lot of fun. You can go inside the dark room in the photography room in that school, which I took that class as many times as they would let me, and you can lock the first of all, you can lock the dark room from the inside, and you can open up a hatch on the floor and climb down into the tunnels, which go out and come up in a hatch underneath the ticket office at the football field on the other side of the parking lot. So it's a quick way to escape class, and nobody can catch you. All right, yeah, Carol Duranche. I don't remember if she got away or if she was the reason why Bundy got caught, but it was right near the end, I think. Duranche got away. Okay. All right. Any minute now, we're going to get some activity in court. We'll get to hear what happens, and we're going to go to lunch. I don't have a book. I saw that, D. Nicole. It looks like Luigi Lawyers put up a website, and it's a fundraiser as well for Luigi, which I guess is smart to do. He does have a lot of support, public support to his action. And he's capitalizing on that because people are able to donate and support his defense. I personally don't think it's the right thing to do, but I did see that. I dated a girl named Anne Frank in high school. Not the Anne Frank. Scarlett O'Hara, we don't have all the data because the judge has ruled that this isn't coming in. But Mom and Post seem to be the problem people in that relationship. Mello's maybe missing a few screws as well, but I don't think in that area. We know we have a lunch break coming up, so let's see. We're going to come back at 1:45. This will be 15 minutes before the live stream begins. Bringing Post back in? They might. Virginia, great question. Transporting Post from the jail is an option, but it could be just about any witness that's delayed. Yeah, there's one true victim in here, and everyone else, I think, are some bad actors in one way or another. But is that side proven that she was involved? The Fire Girl, without having been privy to that information, which I don't want to be, it sounds like it is. In my opinion, this should have been taken care of on Friday. All right. The witness could be their own expert witness. If he's called to testify about pianos and music, then yes. But I don't think that's what he's going to be called to testify about. Having said that, I don't know if you could, because they'd be allowed to speculate. Super T, congratulations for the anniversary on Valentine's Day. That's awesome. Everyone does have the right to testify or to remain silent, but to testify as an expert with an expert designation. Usually experts are not associated with the case. Well, sometimes they are. Here we go. Finally, we get caught up. This happened half an hour ago. So, we're live, as live right now. Got a scam call. Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good.
My name is Robin. I'm calling from the Fulfillment Department of Pure Destinations. It looks like you had some insurance on a vacation package you bought a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, we are obligated to replace everything. I was just doing a quick call to see if you do still see yourself taking vacations in the future.
I do.
Okay, grab a pen and paper so I could go over the details of the vacation with you really quickly.
Can you call me back? I'm in court, and the judge just came in.
No way, dude.
Yeah, here he is.
Hopefully it goes good. Have a good one.
Wish me luck. Bye.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that y'all had a nice rest and break. As I've indicated before, I do need to ask you, has anyone seen anything on news, done any kind of investigation, found out anything about this case? Okay. No one from the jury has indicated they have done such. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's our turn. Mr. Moore and I have been waiting for a long while to be at this point. I was going to say it's been a week, but it's been longer than a week. It's been years. Our client, Zach Hughes, has been waiting for a lot longer than that. He's been waiting over 3 years, some 3 years and 3 months. As Mr. Mormon told you at the outset of this case, we are honored and privileged to be representing Zach. You're going to hear about Zach in the next day or two. You're going to hear that he's a very gifted and accomplished young man. He is 32 years old now. He was 29 when this happened. He's from a wonderful family. You've probably seen them seated back here in the courtroom throughout this trial so far. You're going to hear a little bit about his life. He was born in California. When he was still a boy, his parents took Zach and his brother, moved him to southwestern Virginia, where they moved into a small farm And then they took on 5 orphan children who lived there with them. And you can hear that Zach was homeschooled. He learned the value of hard work and discipline as he grew up around the family farm. He helped his young siblings. His family moved to Greenville when Zach was a teenager. In Greenville, he finished high school, being homeschooled still. And you'll hear that his hard work and his discipline paid off, and he was accepted into a very fine college with scholarships. He went on where he studied music, and he won piano competitions. His emphasis was on piano performance. As an adult, Zach has had an accomplished career performing classical music and even recording classical music. So this is the time now for our case and for Zach to testify. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, that we have no obligation under the law or the Constitution to be doing this. This case actually could be over when the state rested. The state has the burden of proof of proving this case in every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. We would not have to put up anybody. Zach wouldn't have to testify. We wouldn't have to put up any witnesses. In fact, if Zach were not here, His Honor would instruct you that you couldn't use that against him. But we are going to do so. And Zach is going to testify because Zach has been waiting for this opportunity to tell a group of people like you what really happened, which is that he took the life of Christina Parcell. And crucially, he's been waiting and wanting to tell you why.
Whoa.
Now, the why to a case like this is very important because it goes to the heart of the matter, and that is malice. Okay, malice is what makes a homicide a murder. And we heard from that from the prosecution's opening, as you recall. The prosecution said that Zach was mad. They said he had an angry heart, that he wanted to inject himself into this custody dispute of somebody who knew. But that's not why it happened. And that is not what you were going to hear about why this happened. Now, as we turn to our case now, it's important to realize that we could have handled this case extremely differently. Okay? We could have attacked the sufficiency of the state's case. We could have brought in an expert to talk about the DNA. Okay? We didn't do that. We could have challenged the identification evidence. And I want you to consider the professional from law enforcement, from the state law enforcement division, who testified about the enhancement that they did on the videos and the photographs, and how they were able to use this fancy technology to enhance and to account for the differences between sunlight and shadow and the distance. And after all of that, and after all of the technical work that was done, the conclusion was that the guy on the bicycle was 6'5", a big guy like him. Well, as you probably noticed, and as you will see, Zach is shorter than I am. On a good day, I'm 10 foot. I'm 6 foot, 5 foot 10 inches. Okay, he's shorter than I am.
I'm a giant.
Consider the other professional. There's one who spent a great deal of time looking at the enhancement of the person on the bicycle. And after all that time, what was that conclusion? That this person had a beard. It has to be a man. And they enlarged it, and they used, again, all of that technical information to take a look at it. This guy had a beard. This is before they had any suspects. Well, what do we know about Zach and what we learn about Zach? He was clean shaven. We know that from a couple of days prior, and we know that from a couple of days after. We could have attacked that. We could have attacked the identification from the neighbor. As you remember, a neighbor, after 3 years, came into court. And all of a sudden, after 3 years, was able to identify the man whose picture had been on television for the past 3 years. Had never told anybody even that she could identify somebody. And this was somewhere between 8 and 8:15 in the morning. And what you're going to find, ladies and gentlemen, is that couldn't have happened because the person on that bicycle was not even in that neighborhood for at least an hour to an hour and 15 minutes later. But we didn't attack that.
Hang
We
on.
could have done that, and we could have made mountains of objections throughout this trial. And as you heard, we made very few.
Evidence and
we
see,
did
we
not do it.
did
And why is that? Because Zach wants to take the stand and tell you what happened. Now, the prosecution has told you that they will prove this malice in this case by showing you that Zach was mad, that he was angry. And malice is a key part of this case because malice is the very essence of the definition of murder. Okay? So, what is murder? Murder is the killing of somebody with malice aforethought. And what is malice? The prosecution told you it's anger, that is madness, and that is a component of it. The definition, though, it is the killing of a person without just cause or excuse. The intentional doing of a wrongful act without just cause or excuse. And I want you to think about those words, that definition, as you listen to the testimony that you're about to hear in this case. The why to the homicide is very important because it gives insight into the person's heart. In this case, you were going to hear that the why was not jealousy or greed or a crime of passion or some other emotion. You're going to hear that Zach did not act like an angry heart like the prosecutor conjectured. You're going to hear that this was not done for money or any other personal gain or benefit, not to help out any kind of friend. You're going to hear that this was done for a just cause. And that's not malice, and that's not murder. Thank you.
Whoa. This is crazy. I've never seen that. That it waited this long. They waited this long to say this. I'd say I've been waiting 3 years to say this. Yeah, you waited all the while and never even told the prosecution you were going to go this way. And now here you are, we're going to say, I'm going to tell you why I did it. The jury now knows that as far as determining if he did it or not, that job is done. It has been admitted to them. And now, granted, opening statement is not evidence, but they're basically saying you're going to hear, I did it, from the defendant. He's going to get up in there and say, yep, it was me. In the same breath, he's like, we could have attacked the DNA. We could have attacked the fact that the bike wasn't there in the area and it couldn't have been, it wasn't us. And he sort of does. He's like, it's because it wasn't there. It was an hour before. He's literally saying, we did it, and their evidence is bad. And because we have the privilege of having being able to see 30 minutes into the future, we know that right now the defense attorneys are going up to the judge and telling the judge that our witness is not here yet. Our first witness is not here yet, and now would be a good time to take a lunch break, which will have us wait until what? 1:30 to come back. This is crazy. Zach looks back for probably the first time we've seen him. He's always been looking forward, but apparently his family is there supporting him. The lawyer points that out to the jury. You've seen he's got a supportive family, comes from a good family, smart kid, good home life.
The witness is just making a phone call. He'll be right back.
The witness is making a phone call?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to send you back to the jury room for a moment, and then I will be back with you. I really want to also thank you just for your patience. We've had a lot of legal issues that I've had to take up with the attorneys, okay? So I will be back with you shortly.
Oh my goodness. Mind blown today. Mind blown. So we're not going to see what happens. The judge ruling in this case right now, as far as media is concerned, is if the jury is gone, the cameras have to be off now. So we're not going to hear anything that's happening right here, but he might just be calling a lunch. Sherry B., the tax lady. Yes, he's going to admit he did it and tell us why. And maybe he'll get to play the piano. I don't know. Bring in the piano. Prove that he's the concert pianist, the Juilliard-trained musician that he says he is. I don't know where this is going. This is going to be absolutely wild. He's admitted to it. He's never pled guilty to murder, apparently because he feels he was justified. And murder is a crime. Justified homicide is not. So that's why he's not pled guilty. Witness is going to make a phone call. I'm betting that the other person on the line, guy or gal, is a lawyer. Alyssa, it's been a while. Obviously, this is exact courtroom, the way it's played out, we have not seen before. Play us a song, Mr. Piano Man. David, if the jury, this is a gamble. If the jury does not buy the reasoning, this defense, which the judge has ruled he's limiting what they can do, the defense of others' defense, if the jury does not buy this, he has sealed his own fate by saying it was me. I did it. It's a risky move. It's a bold move, a very bold move. Oh, hope he has 30 reasons. He's going to have to explain everything. Waiting for the jury to be brought back in. I think we're going to get told we're going to lunch right now. We are going to be back for the afternoon as well. We're going to take a lunch break. We're going to come back at 1:45. I realize the court says we come back at 1:30. Well, they come back delayed. So we will come back at 1:45. It will start for us at 2. And we're going to have the defense, first witness, up here shortly. But this is crazy. I thought it was 35 injuries if you count the hands and things like that. State goes to Rossum. Yes. If you waive your right to remain silent, you take the stand, you have to answer. You can't just say, I want to tell my story but not answer questions. Randy, you missed some good stuff.
Okay. Welcome back. I would have kept you in here if I had knew I was going to get my answer so quickly. It is 12 o'clock. I'm going to ask that y'all return at 1:30. We're going to take a break, enjoy your lunch, and then we will pick up at that point. Again, I remind you of everything that I punished you about before, and do not begin any kind of deliberations or discussions about this case. Okay? We'll see you back at 1:30. Thank you.
All right. With that, we go to lunch. The jury is out. We are done. When we come back, we do have to warn you guys. There's a high likelihood that this could blow the door open on some of the unallowed stuff. How far open, what comes in, that we won't know until it happens. So just be aware that this afternoon could be a very difficult afternoon content-wise. Oh, let's see. We might. I'm not sure if Christy is going to be able to call in right now or not. She's our court watcher there in court today. Let's see. Defense cannot open their own door. If it's a motion defense made, I think defense can open their own door. Defense is the one that, well, who fought to keep it out? Did the state fight to keep it out? If that's the case, you're right. The defense can't open their own door. At least not. Yeah, they can't plan. You're right, Bridget. If the state fought to keep this out, the defense can't kick the door open. Sanctions incoming. Piano and interpretive dance would be lovely. I've got some piano music we can play, but it's sad piano music. Do we let this roll while the defendant takes a stand and explains why murder was the only option? I don't think we do for him. He would be opposed to that music. This is insane. It's gonna. I am good with some Billy Joel. Yeah, it's very soothing music. I'm here for this. I cannot wait to hear how this goes down going forward. Let's take a lunch break. We have an hour and 15 minutes before we have to come back, and we will we'll pick up where defense left off, which is the first witness being called to the stand. Apparently, it's not Zach as the first witness. All we know is the witness was out making a phone call, and he's going to be in a little while. But now it's going to be after lunch. So it's like the game Clue. The butler did it. The state has fought to keep out the corn issues all throughout pretrial. Defense knew this wasn't allowed in, and I feel like they're going to elicit testimony that blows the door wide open. Then they're going to be in trouble because the judge has ordered that it shouldn't. How do those talented hands stab someone 30 plus times? We are going to portal to the next live stream. It's all set up. And all you have to do is just sit there comfortably in your chair, and we will portal back over to the afternoon session. Chat will continue, so if you have questions or if you're talking with your friends, you can continue that conversation on the other side. And when court does start, when the live stream is available from court, we'll take you there as soon as it happens. You're not going to miss any of it. Oh. Buckle up. This afternoon could be a wild one. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone to make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again in 1 hour and 12 minutes from right now. That would be fantastic. We will see you guys. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Have yourselves a great lunch and bring your popcorn. You might need it.